athletes want fair competition, a chance to compete against others who also follow the rules with the best performance winning on the day. To run clean and win, you need dedication, focus, resilience and hard work. This is what makes sport special. However, one mistake or bad decision can undo a lifetime of hard work towards a dream. And this is why you and other athletes are doing I Run Clean, the European Athletics Interactive e-learning program. The values-focused education will help you make good decisions throughout your career and life. The interactive modules will support you to run clean in line with the anti-doping rules. I Run Clean takes you to a virtual world where you face some challenges and you'll have to decide how to deal with them. During the journey, you will define your own values. You reflect on who you are and who you want to be. Through I Run Clean, you will also learn the anti-doping rules, what is prohibited, therapeutic use exceptions, whereabouts, and much more. When you complete all of the modules, you will receive your certification and license to compete at European athletics events. I Run Clean because integrity matters.
I Run Clean because fair play matters.
This response is a most proper choice.
Thank you, but I didn't make your choices.
Welcome to the Glasgow Emirates Arena and the second day of the European Athletics Indoor Championships. This is the 35th edition of this fantastic competition, which has been in existence really since 1966. We had the inaugural European Indoor Games, and then from 1970 we started with this formal championship. Well, there's 49 European Athletics member federations represented here, around 600 athletes in action. The first day, well, we had 3 gold medals decided in the men's shot put, the pentathlon for women, and the climax of the evening came with the women's 3,000 metres. But this is what we're going to see this morning. We've got 2.5 hours, just a little bit more than 2.5 hours of action. We have 2 qualifying competitions in the field, the women's long jump and pole vault. We've got the first 2 events of the men's heptathlon, and we've got the first rounds of the men's and women's 60 metres and 60 metres hurdles. Well, alongside me, I've got my co-commentator Peter Matthews. My name's Phil Minshall. Peter, a terrific way to start proceedings yesterday.
It couldn't have been orchestrated better, could it? And I know it was well planned, actually, years in advance. But of course, for the home crowd, particularly to end up with gold medals in both the final 2 events was fantastic. Very different scene today, in fact, because yesterday, very unusually, we had no sprint events on the first day of the championships, and today the centre of the arena is clear, so we've got lots of 60-metre races, both flat and over the hurdles for men and for women. Yesterday, of course, we had the great big shot cage down, and then we had high jumping going across the centre. This morning, it's going to be clear and it's very much a morning dominated by the sprints. Qualifications, of course, for the women's long jump and the women's pole vault. And also we get underway with the heptathlon. Now, unlike yesterday, when the women's multi-event, the pentathlon, is decided in one day, the heptathletes have a 2-day competition for their 7 events. But we get underway that very shortly with the men's 60 metres, and later this morning we'll also have the long jump.
Well, just a few minutes to wait before the first action of the day gets underway. Nice little glance behind the scenes here of what happens at a championships, and every single federation competing here has got its own little space where the athletes can hide away, or in more cases they've got the massage tables and the physios in action as well, getting their athletes prepared for the events coming up. Peter, when we were talking about the 60 metres, and as I say, we've got a packed programme as far as the first rounds are concerned. Unusually, I don't see any big favourites in either of the 2 60 metres.
Well, the interesting thing, I think, particularly the men's 60 metres, one can certainly say that, and the fastest guys in Europe, in the 2 British athletes, Reece Prescott and C.J. Ogier, deciding not to come and compete here. And there aren't many really top sprinters in Europe. If they had come, they would be clear favourites. As it is, possibly the new German Kranz, or Jan Volko of Slovakia, who's got perhaps the best pedigree record in championships. Women, I think there is a clear favourite. I think Eva Svoboda has a title to that, although, of course, we've got Daphne Schippers, who's the biggest name.
And
but
we're looking at Schippers on the screen as we speak.
But she hasn't got such a good record this season, and I think Svoboda has, and she may well beat Schippers by a metre, I would have thought.
And, of course, we do have the defending champion, Asher Phillip.
And we certainly mustn't rule out Asher Phillip, and again, the crowd obviously locally would be very, very happy with that one. But as it is, we're going to get underway, Phil, with one of your events, the women's long jump.
Well, there you could see the women's championship record to Heike Drechsler from 1988. Really don't see that being challenged in either the qualifying or the final, 7:30 an August mark. But we do have 19 women attempting to get through to tomorrow's final, including the defending champion Ivana Španović. She's been jumping well, not over 7 metres yet this year, but we were talking about home crowd favourites, home crowd heroines, and Španović fulfilled her role 2 years ago in Belgrade when she flew out to an absolutely fantastic national record of 7:24. It was the best performance in many, many years indoors in the long jump. So we're getting underway, and we're just looking now. Very first women in action here on the second day. It's Laura Strati, the Italian. She's had a good year. I mean, she's improved to 6:58 this year. Well, that's close to her season's best. And gets a white flag. Qualifying conditions, 6:65. All the top 8 go through to tomorrow's final. Only 5 women in Europe over 6:65, so I think we're going to see a repeat of what happened in the field event qualifiers yesterday, particularly in the horizontal jumps, where they were getting perhaps 4 or 5 competitors at the qualifying distance, but some were going through as best non-automatic qualifiers. 6:35, so a useful start for Strati. Finished second recently at the Italian Championships. Laima Griva from Latvia. One of 2 sisters in this competition. Sister Mara will be jumping very shortly. Not quite in her best form this year. Jumped 6:35 just a short while ago, and winning the Latvian indoor title. So 6:34, just 1 centimetre shy of her season's best. Latvia already having a good championships on the first day, with Gunter Vaikule setting a national record in the 400 metres yesterday. This is Heidis Sigurdardóttir. Well, the multi-talented Sigurdardóttir has won 33 Icelandic titles, indoors and out, but gets a red card, a red flag. She's got 2 more attempts to get close to the mark of 6:65.
Quite a big no jump, but it was a good jump though. Good distance was good.
Yes, has a personal best of 6:54, so that's the capability of perhaps getting to the final. Now 32 years of age, the Icelandic jumper. Jaisa Thomas, first of the British competitors in action. Thomas, 24 years of age. She's been successful in the United States, where she was attending Iowa State College. White flag. Very tight on the board. Thomas has improved indoors this winter to 6:50. So again, if she's to get an automatic qualifier, she'll need to add a fair bit to her personal best. But we're not expecting 8 women to get over 6:50, so 6:33. Very early stage in this qualifying competition, just 2 centimetres separating the women. Now the good Romanian Alina Rotaru. Rotaru has jumped 670 this year, so she's one of the better women in this competition. Tall, rangy jumper. She's pleased with that. Tara has made a number of major championship finals, including the last World Championships. There's a bit of space to spare on the board.
Well, she's certainly come back to her peak form this winter season, and there's a good start, the best we've had yet.
6:45. Yeah, she's didn't do terribly well, didn't make the final at the European Championships last year, but she is a class jumper on a day and has got medals from the World Under-18 and European Under-20 Championships as well. And I think it's over to you, Peter, for the multi-events, as you're our multi-events expert.
Well, I certainly enjoyed the pentathlon yesterday, and now we have the heptathletes. There are just 2 races for the 60 meters, and these are the slower group for 60 meters. They're usually seeded into their qualities for different events. We've got perhaps the favourite, maybe, certainly European leader this year, Thomas van der Pletsen, going this race. But from the inside, we've got Andreas Beckmann of Germany, 6,000 points he's got up to over the 7-event discipline this year. Then we have Vasily Ronin of France, also just over 6,000 points. All these men have got personal best just outside 7 seconds, and we'll see men with inside 7-second times in the next race. And here's van der Pletsen, a good record, European champion at the decathlon 3 years ago, and former junior and under-23 champion. Samuelsson's proving himself to be a good big event competitor. He did well 2 years ago when he took 5th place in Belgrade, again with a heptathlon best of just over 6,000 points. Vitaly Zuk had a really splendid European Championships in Berlin when the young Belarusian took the bronze medal. And Janek Oiglani, well, I remember him really coming through at the under-23 championships 4 years ago. He's had injury problems, but he was 4th in the World Championships decathlon in 2017 as well. Quite a talent, and good to see him back, probably pretty much close to his best, with a score of 6,015 points, to 85 points rather, to his credit this year. First race in the heptathlon 60 meters. Beckmann, Rollner, van der Pletsen, Samuelsson, Zuk and Oiglani. Three men with a personal best of 7:05, so this could really be very close.
Set.
Clear break there by Samuelsson in the middle. Now, of course, when we come to the multi-events, you are not immediately disqualified for one full start, as of course we are now in the normal events, all the events across the hill running spectrum. Samuelsson just a little bit too keen, so he will be warned, indeed the whole field will be warned, if anyone, not just Samuelsson, makes a full start next time, they could be liable for disqualification. I know they're going to discuss it, but it was very clear to us who it was that broke there, and there we see him on screen. Samuelsson, best of 7:05.
As this is the first full start of this heat and we have combined events, all athletes are warned. Next full start leads to disqualification.
So we do see a number of full starts in the multi-events, and when it doesn't matter, perhaps they're just a little bit over keen, but this is for real very much now. You certainly don't want a full start then, because the whole of the multi-event competition is pretty much ruined if you get no points for any event. So after one full start, we've got Beckmann, Rollner, van der Pletsen, Samuelsson, Zuk and Oiglani. Well, this time Samuelsson also very well away, so too Beckmann, the German, over on the far side, and Rollner in front, and Samuelsson, who takes it on the line from Beckmann and Rollner. And 7:06 on the clock, so very, very close to his personal best. And I said Samuelsson is a big meeting competitor. I think he's a fierce competitor, and he's got very close to his personal best. In fact, the verdict gone to Beckmann in the end. I thought it was pretty close at the end, and 7:05 is the confirmed winning time. both, well, Beckman got 7:05 by 100th from Samuelsson, so he came up at the end just to snatch victory from the Swede. Doesn't matter what order you finish, it's all about the scoring tables, of course. And that's a personal best for the German, 865 points, so he'll end up 4 more than Samuelsson. Well, Beckman always going well over on the far side from lane 3, then Rollner and Samuelsson. And I thought Samuelsson had got it. Well, it was certainly very close, wasn't it?
Yes, it wasn't immediately obvious. Beckman had a very good start and got into his running very quickly. Nice pickup from Beckman.
Yeah, Beckman on the right of the screen. Samuelsson third in from the left. And terrific, of course, tradition in Germany for the multi-events, and Beckman is their latest star. And another British athlete in the action in the long jump.
Yes, we switch over and it's Abigail Iwazoru. Already seen one British jumper in action. A tidy jump there, close to the season's best for Iwazoru.
Well, she's an athlete who had a lot of injuries over the years, and it's really good to see her back at her best. She's been around for a while, but missed out for several years, really. And, of course, Britain with great depth of long jumping talent. No Sarah Proctor or Lorraine Ugin are up there in the world top 10, but still 3 good competitors.
Yes, she was a finalist at the World Under-20s back over a decade ago, and then sort of, as you say, had a lot of injuries. Well, 6:45 for Iwazoru, so equal best at the moment, and that's not too far shy of her season's best of 6:59.
And even about that, if you add in the distance she had on the board to spare.
Now the very good Belarus jumper, Nastasia Mironchik-Ivanova. She's been jumping very well. Sometimes seems to leave her best form back in Belarus. Did get third at the World Indoor Championships. World Championships in 2:11. Oh, that's a very good jump indeed. That's no doubt the best we've seen this morning. She jumped 6:67 this year. That might well be close to her season's best. And a little bit to spare on the board, about 5 centimeters. 6:77. So she becomes the first automatic qualifier. Well, we've seen her sister, Lauma Grieve. Now it's the turn of Mara Grieve. Using very conventional technique there, just the straightforward hang technique, gets a white flag. She's been jumping slightly the better of the two sisters this year, has improved to 6:41.
Going back to Mironchik-Ivanova, that moves her up to 4th in the European list for this year. A really good start.
6:37 for Mara Grieve. 3 centimeters better than her sister. Yes, I mean, she has had...
Was on to the first heat of the heptathlon, a win for Andreas Beckman in 7:05, his personal best. Fredrik Samuelsson 7:06, then Rollner and Zug 7:13, and the other two at 7:15 just behind. And the second of these races, 6 men there. These are the faster men, and include several of the favourites for medals here. So we've got Martin Røe of Norway, who was 6th in the European Championships decathlon outdoors last summer in Berlin. He's got a personal best of 6:92. And next to him is Carl Robert Saluri, who's come back into form this year, and he's the fastest, or joint fastest in the lineup, with a 6:77 to his credit. Jorge Urania, Spanish record holder, 6:124 points. That's the second in Europe this year, and he's a decent sprinter at 6:91 PB. Gigi Sakura, well, he was the World Junior Champion at decathlon back in 2014, and another 6,000 point competitor. Personal best just inside 7 seconds. Tim Duckworth is a very exciting young talent from Great Britain. Has lived most of his life in the USA and college there. And Tim Duckworth was 4th in the European Championships decathlon outdoors. And the most experienced, biggest name, here's Ilya Shkurinov with a silver and 2 bronzes in decathlons in European Championships, competing as an authorized neutral athlete, the Russian. And he's got a best of 6:98. So the fastest men in the field at 6:77, Siluri going in lane 4, and Duckworth going in lane 7. Second of the 2 races of the men's 60 meters in the heptathlon, first event of their 2-day competition. There's Duckworth. Brilliant high jumper and long jumper particularly, not so good in the throws. Roa, Siluri, Urania, Sikora, Duckworth, Shkurinov.
Set.
Well, Siluri burst out of his blocks, and he with Duckworth, with Urania following them. Siluri is Duckworth in 2nd place, Urania in 3rd, Roa in 4th, and a really good time there too, which he's very happy about, so he should be. It's those championship best. That's the best performance in a heptathlon in European Indoor Championships history. Formerly 6:79, now officially confirmed as 6:75, and also a personal best for the Estonian Siluri. Well, Duckworth lost a little bit of ground to him on the early stages, but finished very well indeed, and he's rewarded with a decent time too of 6:85. So a high standard, and Siluri delighted with that championship best. 6:75 worth 973 points. Duckworth and Urania also under 7 seconds. Good stuff for Urania, who's definitely one of the medal favourites. The Spaniard in the middle there. Look at the way Siluri, head down, now comes up. Away he strides to victory. Duckworth closing just a little bit. Yeah, narrows it to a metre. That's just over a metre, but the difference between them. Let's have a look at headlong and Siluri. Wonderful start here.
Well, there'll be men in the 60 metres heats coming up who aren't going to be running that quickly. Just noticed he's just 300ths shy of the all-time European best for 60 metres in a heptathlon.
And that is by Erkki Newell, the great Estonian. So it's a terrific tradition for the multi-events in Estonia. Carl Robert Siluri winning in 6.75 from Tim Duckworth, 6.85, Jorge Urania 6.96, with the scores that they've gained shown on the right. Well, that's the start of the heptathlon. The next event will be the long jump, which will be in an hour and 3/4 time.
Well, now one of the favourites for the long jump, Aleksa Kijanović. The German leads the European list this year at 6.99. Oh, good jump there from Mijanović.
Yeah, it's a competent start there. She, of course, was world ranked #1 last year. She really did have a terrific season.
Yes, so she'll be looking to add to her European outdoor title. I'm pretty sure that's an automatic qualifier. And a bit to spare on the board. But it looks as though it's a very quick morning's work for Mijanović. Confirmation 6.74. She gets an automatic qualifier and joins Miranchik Ivanova on the sidelines. Her morning's work's done.
Result of the heptathlon on 60 metres, first event. Siluri, with his splendid run, has 973 points, so a 37-point lead over Duckworth. Urania, Rowe, Beckman and Samuelson following. Rander Pleitzen, well, he's 12th and last at the moment, 7.62. But he's got good events to come for the man who leads the European rankings.
So now the talented Ukrainian Marina Bekromanchuk, former European junior champion, European under-20 champion. She's jumped 6.85 this year, so another person who on paper who should be a medal contender. That's a nice jump. That's possibly just slightly shy of the qualifying mark. Quick on the run up and gets nice height. Good technician, the Ukraine jumper. Little bit to spare on the board. 6:57, well, a little bit shy of the automatic qualifier, but she's got 2 more jumps to go. That may well be enough. But this is already looking as though it might well be a very high quality competition. We've had 3 qualifiers already go through. And there's Ivana Španović, the defending champion, and she really is such a good competitor on the big occasion. I think she's made short work of qualifying. Just slightly veers off to the left-hand side of the pit and has a lot on the board. 6:79. She leads the qualifiers, and her morning's work's been done. And also in the field, we've got the women's pole vault qualifying getting underway. Qualifying height, 4:65. Well, that's a good championship record of Isinbayeva from 2005, but we've had one woman in Europe clear higher than that. That's Sidorova, and we've got a couple of other women who at their best might well challenge it, so could be a very interesting final. Top of the list there, Ekaterini Stefanidi. Not quite in the same form that she's been in recent years, but she's the reigning world, Olympic and European champion. And a very strong list there as well. Sidorova leads the European list this year at 491. The other Greek, Nicoleta Kyriakopoulou, has also been in good form around the international circuit. And Holly Bradshaw has returned to form this winter as well, and surely stands a decent chance of getting in the medals. Bradshaw clearing 4:81.
It's a very tough field, isn't it, there? I mean, Bradshaw, we saw the personal best this year, or season best this year, 4:81. So too Bengtsson, who was such a brilliant junior, who has now taken the Swedish record to that height this season.
So now we start that long list of qualifiers in the men's and women's 60 metres. The men get underway first. First of 6 heats in this, the first round, and this will be completed today. Tonight there is the semi-finals and the final. And here's the fastest man here in Glasgow, Emre Zafir Barnes, 6:55 this year. As Peter mentioned at the top of the programme, a couple of other sprinters have decided not to compete here, including the fastest man in Europe, Reece Prescott. So Ireland's Joseph Ojewumi, the 20-year-old Irishman, has improved to 6:77 this year. New face, Spanish sprinting, also 20 years of age, Daniel Ambros. Now Emre Zafir Barnes made the last World Indoor Final in Birmingham and also the European Championship Final last year. He's the Markus Fuchs, 5 times national champion over 60 metres for Austria. Stefan Wicki, good standard sprinter at 6:65. Alongside him, Alexandru Terpezan, number 2 Romanian sprinter, finished second in their championships a short while ago, a few weeks ago. And completing the lineup, Vasil Machuk from Ukraine. Just 19 years of age, so one 19-year-old, 2 20-year-olds in this rather young-looking field. Qualification conditions for the semi-final is first 3 in each heat and the next 6 non-automatic qualifiers. So as they settle into their blocks. From the inside, it's Ojewumi of Ireland, Ambros of Spain, Barnes, Turkey, Fuchs, Austria, Wiki, Switzerland, Terpazan, Romania, and Machuk of Ukraine.
Set.
Well, Barnes in lane 4 is out very quickly indeed. And now Barnes really imposing his authority on this field. Barnes able to relax over the final 10 metres and just look around. Very comfortable morning's work for one of the men who's a favourite for the medals coming up this evening. Emre Zafer Barnes of Turkey. 6.69 for Barnes, and he did it very, very comfortably. Marcus Fuchs goes through 6.75. And Sylvan Wiki, same time, gets through in the third automatic qualifying place. Let's have a look at that again. Well, Barnes, really the class act in this heat. Away very easily, and with 20 metres to go, able to look around as the rest battle for second and third place.
Well, that was particularly interesting, I think, because Barnes has been racing prolifically this year, but has been a bit up and down in his form. But here, he's shown just the sort of performance that indeed has taken him to his season's best of 6.55 this year.
Interesting on the overhead shot, though. He veers greatly out to the right-hand side of his lane. He was very, very close to the line. Just got to keep a bit focused, just concentrate.
Yeah, well, he did ease down. I don't know why people necessarily need to ease down at the end of a 60. You're not saving too much, are you?
Not really, no. So there's the results and the confirmed qualifiers. Barnes of Turkey, 6.69. Marcus Fuchs, 6.75. And Sylvan Wiki, 6.75. 6.75, of course, the time that Solari won the 60 metres in the heptathlon just a short while ago. So that really emphasises once again what a good run that was. Vincenzino. Well, we've seen one Italian jumper already this morning. This is Tania Vincenzino, Italian champion. Once again, very conventional style. She's very close to her season's best. She's improved to 6.60 this year at the age of 32. Very much a late bloomer. Not much to spare on the board, 6 centimetres. So 6.51, and that moves her up into 5th place. Still a few jumps to go in the first round. This is Florentina Costina Uskov of Romania. And that was a nice jump. Again, very conventional hang technique, but Yosko doing well. We've already seen good jump from her compatriot, Rataru. Yosko also a very good sprinter and triple jumper as well, just 22 years of age. .652, a season's best for Yosko. And she's in 5th place now. Well, we saw Rataru, Yosko's compatriot, in the first round. This is her second round jump. Rataru in equal 7th place at the moment with 6.45 in the first round. And that looks as though it's a better jump. Gets the white flag. Rataru, very fine under-20 career, winning medals at both World Under-18 and the European Under-20 Championships. Could barely be any closer to the plasticine, just 3 centimetres to spare. Goes for a hitch kit technique, very effective it is too. 6:66, and she becomes our 4th automatic qualifier. So she's gone through to the final. This is Elise Lesueur Aimonin. Has added her married name onto her bib. Former European champion. Rather modest 6:22 with her opening jump. Also took the world indoor title a few years ago. Well, it looks as though she had plenty to spare on the board there. Rather rueful look on her face. Clearly not quite in the same form as back in 2:15. Didn't even, yes, I said there was a lot to spare on the board. She didn't even get on the board. 6:37 for Lesueur Aimonin. So she's got a bit to do with her final jump. She's currently in 9th place at the moment.
Second heat of the men's 60 metres. There's the full lineup. Top name, perhaps Austin Hamilton of Sweden, who was a surprise bronze medalist 2 years ago. Let's go through the field. We have Aykut Ay from Turkey on the inside. Now with the best of 6:69, having already seen, of course, his compatriot Barnes go through. Next to him, Omar El Aida Chafi from Malta. 6:91 he has produced this season. There is Austin Hamilton, second in this year's Swedish Championships. In 6:62 makes him the fastest in the lineup. Panagiotis Trifizas, probably better as a 200-meter runner. He's the Greek champion at that event, but he's 6:68 at the 60 meters as well. Marvin René, well, we'd expect him to get through. He's got a personal best also of 6:62. The Frenchman, who was a finalist in the last European Under-23 Championships. Simon Bujna from the Slovak Republic. That's to 6:68. And then we have the Serbian champion at both 60 and 200, Aleksa Kijanović. 6:75. He'll need to be right up to that if he's going to qualify. And finally, Petre Rezmivez of Romania, who was second in the recent Balkan Championships held just 2 or 3 weeks ago in Istanbul. So the favourites to look out for, probably Hamilton in 3 and René in 5.
On your marks.
Perhaps we don't expect so much of Swedish sprinters, but they took 3rd and 4th 2 years ago in Belgrade. Hamilton here taking the bronze, narrowly ahead of his compatriot Rose, who we'll see in a later heat. First 3 to go through, and then another 6 on times from these 6 heats. This is René of France in lane 5. Away they go. Hamilton certainly into a good start, so too the Turkish athlete Ay on the outside. It's a fast finish from Rezmivez as well. The Romanian coming through as well. So on either side of the track, slightly surprising me maybe, but Ay of Turkey and Rezmivez of Romania were very prominent there. Slowish time, one would say, really, 6:73. And the favourites, frankly, a little disappointing in that race. That's one of them. It's Hamilton. We'll see whether he made the first 3, but Ay has been confirmed as the victor with that 6:73 time. And that is a season's best. And Hamilton, he was okay. He got second at 6:76. René certainly not matching his form. He didn't make the first 3 because it was Rezmivez, the Romanian, who was nearest to us. Look, either side there, I got a really good start over in lane 1, and then Rezmivez, the Ukrainian, in lane 8, and in the middle between them, Hamilton just doing enough in what was a very close finish. And René eased out of it. Frenchman, disappointing run from him. You can see from the photo, well back there. But Not the sort of standard one would expect at the European Championships, actually. 6.73, 6 and 7 qualifying. But it was close.
So now back to the long jump, and this is Mara Grieva. Saw her jump in the first round, 6.37. Needs to improve to get into the top 8 and get through to tomorrow's final. Yes, red flag, very clearly put into the plasticine. So she's got a bit of work to do in the final round if she's to make the final. Getting a bit of advice there. We're coming up towards the end of the second round. Just to give you a snapshot, at the moment, 8th place at the moment is held by Abigail Irozuru at 6.45. So, Jasmine Sawyers, I did have to look twice. She's changed her look.
Substantially.
Well, she was the host of the European Athletics Golden Tracks Gala, and she didn't have blonde hair then. Sawyers had a foul in the first round. Well, she's in a bit of trouble now. 2 fouls to her name. We've been expecting. Sawyers to progress.
A singer, a lawyer, and with a very severe haircut.
She's not been jumping that well though this year. 6.36, not quite at the level of 2 years ago when she.
That's right. I mean, last year was a bit up and down, and she did well, of course, in the Europeans.
Yeah, it's got a silver in the 2016 European Outdoors. Well, this is Marina Beck-Romanchuk in 5th place at the moment with 6.57, which could well be on its own good enough to see her through. 6.65, the automatic qualifying standard. 4 women already got that, and then Beck-Romanchuk leads the best of the rest. Well, that's looks as though it's going to actually get her into the qualifying positions. I think that's an improvement on her 6.57. There's bags of height from lift-off there. Well, 6.78, so a good jump there from the Ukrainian, who got a silver medal in Berlin last summer. Went from 2nd to 4th with her very last round effort. So she's a good clutch competitor.
Result of the second heat of the men's 60 metres, a win for Aykut Ay of Turkey, 6.73, with Hamilton and Rezmevez also making it through, and just 0.08 separating the first 7 there.
Let's move on to the third heat. And we get sight of the very good young German Kevin Kranz, who lies 2nd on the list of competitors here in Glasgow, just 20 years of age. Also alongside him, Oji Edeburen. Edeburen, very fine career during the age groups, having won the 100 metres outdoors at European under-20 and under-23 level. This is the man in lane 2, Eftimos Sterios from Greece. The tall, rangy Oji Edeburen. And I've been so impressed with him as he's gone through the age groups. Now, this man is very much an emerging talent on the European sprint scene. Has reduced his best to 6.56 this year. Zdeněk Stromčík. Running well as well, just a bit outside his best, 6.64 this year. Koji Musa of Denmark. 22 years of age and has improved to 6.77 this year. Sylvain Chouard, the Swiss sprinter in lane 7. Again, another improving athlete, 6.73. Daniel Szabo on the outside in lane 8. Has a best of 6.73 and has gone close to that this year. So from the inside, it's Sterioulis of Greece, Edinburgh in Great Britain, Kranz, Germany, Stromčík, Czech Republic, Musa, Denmark, Chouard, Switzerland, Szabo of Hungary. Well, with 3 to go through automatically to this evening's semi-finals. Keep an eye on lanes 3, 4 and 5.
Set.
Well, both Kranz and Edinburgh away very quickly. Now the long-legged Edinburgh getting into his stride. Edinburgh takes it for Great Britain and Northern Ireland. 6.67, the fastest heat so far. He was chased down by Kranz. Good confirmation of just who gets the 3rd automatic qualifying place. I think Kranz will be a little bit disappointed with that, but he's got semi-finals to rectify matters. But a nice run this morning for OG Edinburgh. Sometimes has a few problems with his start, but once he gets motoring, very, very powerful runner indeed.
Edinburgh, who astonishingly was the only British selection for 60 metres, given the depth of British sprinting. And yes, he was a little slow away, but he finishes very strongly. Shows probably he would even better at the outdoor distances, the longer distances, for 100 metres. And he qualified by dint of a strong 100-metre time last year. He was only last, in fact, in the British Championships at 60. Had a misfortune there.
Yes, the camera runs on Stromčík, the Czech, and indeed Stromčík did get through as the 3rd automatic qualifier. Nice overhead shot. There we see confirmation that Stromčík did get 3rd place, so it did go to form. The 3 men in the centre of your picture. He doesn't race them very often, but I'd love to see what Odeburing could do actually over 200 metres. He's just got that long language style which would seem to suit him. So there's the results and confirmation of the 3 automatic qualifiers. Odeburing 67, Kranz 670 and Stromčík taking 3rd place in 677. Sylvain Chouard, have to wait and see whether he gets through as one of the 6 non-automatic qualifiers. And we switch back to Tania Vincenzo. 6.51, so she's lying in 7th place. She's in a qualifying position at the moment, but she'll want to do a little bit better. There's a host of women just a few centimetres behind her. And that does look a little bit better indeed. So 6.51 in the first round for the 32-year-old. Just looking down my notes, having improved to 6.60 this year, that may well be very close to her personal best. Oh, a big smile on her face. 6.68, indeed it is. An 8-centimetre addition to her indoor best. And that gets her a qualifying place as well. So now the start of round 3. Laura Stratti, from one Italian to another. Stratti just outside of the qualifying positions at the moment. Needs to jump 6.45 or better to have a chance of progressing. It's close. Looks like a slight improvement after that second round foul. Oof, long way on the board.
Becomes the second athlete over. A reminder, qualifying is 4 meters and 65 for the top 8 of the final tomorrow.
Well, 6:40, she just misses out. It is an improvement. Does make you wonder if she'd have actually hit the ball cleanly and added 10 to 15 centimetres, she would have been in a much better position. So, Lamagriva lying down in 12th at the moment. Has a best of 6:34 from the first round. Latvian champion. The older of the two sisters in this qualifying competition. Doesn't look like an improvement. As you can see there, two superimposed lines, the athlete's own season's best and also the green line for the 6:65 qualifying standard. Well, no improvement though. 6:16, so she has a best of 6:34. Currently lying in 12th place, and so she won't progress.
Heat 4 of the men's 60 metres. Rose, Volko, Urza, Niago, Golitin, Olszewski and Lopez. Well, Jan Volko, the biggest name in this lineup, the Slovakian who goes in lane 3, second from the inside, with lane 1 not being used, 7 men. Reminder that it's the 3 fastest in each heat, or 3 first in each heat who go through, and 6 more on time. So relatively straightforward qualifying, or should be, for most of the men. Odin Rose of Sweden was a splendid 4th 2 years ago in Belgrade. Born in Jamaica, personal best of 6:62, but he hasn't been very close to that this year. Jan Volko, the silver medalist 2 years ago, and also a world indoor finalist, so very much the favourite in this lineup, and indeed one of the favourites for a medal. 6:57 he's run. Kayhan Urza from Turkey, 4th in the recent Balkan Championships. Well, he's already seen 2 Turkish winners in the 60 heats. You're not Andrei Niago of Romania, also a good long jumper. For France, a relative newcomer, Amaury Golitin. He's got a best of 6:65, so that's the sort of form which could well see him advance. And the very tall figure of Remigiusz Olszewski of Poland. 5 times the Polish champion. In fact, each of the last 5 years he's been Polish 60-metre champion. And finally, Antoine Lopez from Portugal, a transferee from Guinea-Bissau, whose national record he still holds for the 100 metres. This is the lineup then for Heat 4. From the right, the inside, Rose of Sweden, Volko, Slovakia, Urza of Turkey, Niago, Romania, Golitin for France, Olszewski for Poland, and Lopez for Portugal. Particular interest in Volko in lane 3. Haven't seen impressive runs from Barnes of Turkey, one of the other big favourites for the title, and perhaps Buren also of Britain. Volko going here in lane 3, second from the right.
Set.
Well, he's certainly very well away with Rose of Sweden outside him, and Volko coming clear of the field, or is he? No, I think Olszewski got very, very close there. Well, Volko given it. He started so well, but just lost a little bit of ground in the closing stages, I thought. But as it is, it's good time. It's Volko, 6:69. Olszewski certainly finished very fast indeed. Yes, Olszewski given second place there, 6:72. And confirmation was very close for the third spot. Lopez and Golitin in that order, both given the same time of 6:74. So here Volko looking strong, but look on this side, the Polish athlete Olszewski and also Lopez of Portugal, nearest to the camera there. They're taking the automatic qualifying spots with Golitin 6:74. Probably be enough to get him advanced as one of the next quickest into the semi-finals. But not so impressive by Volko, as I think Barnes is still the one who has looked the best so far.
Yes, Owen just easing up. He ran very, very confidently. Yes, but Volko ran all the way through here. He did look as though he was straining a little bit at times. Lots can change, though, in the course of the next few hours before the semi-finals.
Well, indeed, and I mean, it is pretty straightforward qualifying for these top men in the 60 meters, with so many going through two semis. Jan Volko, the winner, in 6.69 from Emidius Olszewski, 6:72, and Anuam Lopez, 6:74. Golitin, to wait and see, but probably 6:74 will be enough for him to qualify as well.
So back with the long jump, and Jahisa Thomas. Well, she's got 6:33 to her name from the first round. Target for her, and indeed everybody else outside of the top 8, is Abigail Irazoru's 6:45. No, that's not going to be good enough. Might be a slight improvement on her first round effort, but it's not going to get her to 6:45 or even close to 6:65, which is the automatic qualifying standard, which 6 women have already got.
Nonetheless, it's good to see that Thomas appears to have enjoyed her competition, because of course this is her international debut for Britain.
6:34 for Thomas, so very slight improvement. She's currently in 8th place, so she has got a place in the final at the moment, but there's still a number of jumpers still to come. Abigail Irazoru, 6:45 in the first round. Irazoru, the UK indoor champion back in 2015, but has had Achilles problems since then. People are talking about her injury issues. Oh, good jump, close or thereabouts to 6:45. Not an automatic qualifier.
Of
6:50, so an improvement. She does stay in 8th place though, so a few nail-biting minutes for Irazoru, because I count up there's still 6 women to jump and 5 of them are lying behind her at the moment, including Jasmine Sawyers, her compatriot. This is the number 2 Serbian behind Španović, Milica Gardašević.
Incidentally, while we're concentrating on the long jump, the pole vault, of course, we had introduced before, and I can say that the bar is now at 440. We've lost just one competitor at the previous height. Murto did not manage 425, but none of the top competitors have entered yet.
Gardašević, the reigning European under-20 champion from 2017. Of course, we'll have the 2019 championships coming up in Borås in Sweden this summer. Well, seemed to chop her stride a little bit before the board. 6:30 from the first round. Has improved to 6:52 this year, so she needs to jump that distance if she's to actually get into the final. Spot on the board though. .641. So she is in 9th place and won't progress to the final. 3 men from this heat will progress to this evening's semi-finals, though, of the men's 60 metres. And we have the 2-time defending champion, Richard Kilty. Well, as Peter commented, Kilty got a bit of a backdoor entry. He was put through as a special favour. He had ran a qualifying time, but the British chose not to select him originally, and European Athletics progressed him to this race.
Well, Britain had set a ridiculous qualifying standard of 660. The European standard was in the high 670s. And I think about, although not the top 2, I think about 10 or 12 British athletes had done the European standard. But Britain decided only to send 1 sprinter originally, and Kilty certainly should have been on the team. So too, in my opinion, should the national champion Dominic Ashwell. Ran 6:64, he'd have made it.
And here is Kilty. Well, Kilty at 7th on the all-time list with his 6:49 from a few years ago. Not running quite as quickly as that, but nevertheless still in good form with 6:63 this year. Picking it up, Carlos Nascimento, 24 years of age. Zvimir Ivasovic from Croatia. Alexander Sokolov of Ukraine. And on the outside, Aitor Sami-Ekbo. Well, Kilty is really the standout performer in this field. As we were talking about the circumstances behind his arrival in Glasgow, we did miss a few people, so I'll give you the full lineup. And we have Siorsen of Norway in lane 1, Zikos of Greece in lane 2, Hadjiteros of Cyprus in lane 3. The man wearing the gold bib here, Richard Kilty, comes from the northeast of England. He's in lane 4, Nascimento of Portugal 5, Ivaskovic, Croatia 6, Sokolov of Ukraine 7, and Sami-Ekbo of Spain in 8. Really not much to choose between the other sprinters other than Kilty, so it's going to be quite competitive for the 2 remaining automatic qualifying spots.
Set.
Well, it's a false start, not immediately obvious. Your thoughts, Peter?
Well, I'm not absolutely sure. We'll have to wait and see. It looked like in the middle lanes, though.
I'm being told it's
Lane
Ivaskovic of Croatia in lane 6
and is disqualified.
So Ivaskovic gets the red card. Very, very tight, marginal, but nevertheless we do have automatic timing equipment which can detect a false start. I think you had to refer to the equipment there. It wasn't obvious with the naked eye. So, Ivaskovic has the unwanted accolade, I think, of being the first person to be disqualified here at the European Athletics Indoor Championships.
Well, that shows very clear reaction time, minus 0.02. If he obviously did that, but he didn't gain much from it, in fact, because certainly his pickup from that wasn't good.
He hasn't been running quite at top form this year. Maybe he was just a little bit nervous about that. So they go to their blocks at the second time of asking. Just a recap of the field. Siorsen, Norway, Zikos, Greece, Hadjiteros, Cyprus, Kilty, Great Britain, Nascimento, Portugal. Now lane 6 empty, Sokolov, Ukraine, and Sami-Ekbo of Spain.
Set.
And Kilty gets a good start, so too does Zikos, the Greek. Now out start in lane 2, having a very good run indeed. Kilty just eases through to take second place. Well, Zikos, that's a bit of a surprise there. That was an excellent run from him. Just outside his personal best in this morning's heat. 6:66 for Konstantinos Zikos of Greece, the 20-year-old Greek. Just 400ths outside his best. Kilty didn't have to do work too hard, but I think that might have acted as a good wake-up call if he thought he was going to just wander and waltz through that heat. And Nascimento, the experienced Portuguese sprinter, gets third. So Zikos, very good start indeed, and carries on all the way down the track in fine form in this morning's heat. Kilty, good start as well.
Yes, he was something like a metre down on Zikos at one stage, but he closed that quite substantially.
Well, he looks a bit older than he's 20 years on the paper, but tidy run indeed from Konstantinos Zikos, the newly minted Greek indoor champion. So there's the results. Zikos 6:66, Kilty 6:68, and Carlos Nascimento 6:72. They're the three men that get through to this evening's semi-finals. Greece, Great Britain and Portugal. Got one more heat. And one more jump for Mara Grieva. We've just seen her sister Lauma Grieva being eliminated a little bit earlier. Mara Grieva in 9th place at the moment. Well, it's pretty close to her 6:31. 6:37, I should say, from the first round. Spot on the board. So 6:41, and that does, as you can see from the caption on the left-hand side, equal her personal best. Not quite good enough to get her through to the final. 8th place still being occupied by Abigail Irazuro, who's just catching up on a bit of reading. I wonder what she's reading. 6:50 to her name, and that's 8th place at the moment in this qualifying competition.
Final heat now of the men's 60 metres. Molinari, Pirola, Lopez, Larsson, Supron, Van Gool, Asante, Dimitrov. Well, no really big names here. No one who's made a championship final before at senior level. So let's go through. Francesco Molinari from San Marino. San Marino not having too many top athletes. They've got a very good high jumper. Molinari has the best of 6:91. Then we have Samuel Pirola for Finland. 6:67 man. If he can replicate that, he should advance to the semi-finals. In lane 3, we have from Spain, Sergio Lopez. So the man with the best of 6:69. Lopez, the Spanish indoor champion this year. And then lane 4, the third of the Swedes that we've seen here. Henrik Larsson, Sweden very much having a policy of sending as big a possible team to such championships, and he is the fastest in the field at 6:60. From Ukraine, Vladimir Supran, 6:75, 6:78 this year. He'll need to do better than that probably. Horace van Gool of the Netherlands, 6:63. Well, if he can replicate that, again, he, like Henrik Larsson, would be favoured to get through. Festus Asante from Denmark, second in the Danish championships, the 24-year-old. and one of the more experienced competitors, Denis Dimitrov from Bulgaria. Dimitrov, 4 times Bulgarian champion. He didn't make the final of the Balkan Championships, though, this year. So Larsen, the fastest in the field here, goes in lane 4. And Van Gool from the Netherlands, just 2 lanes outside him. Ran on the World Indoor Tour, was 5th in Dusseldorf, so some pretty decent form there. Just 20 years of age, the young Dutchman here on the screen. Molinari, Pirola, Lopez, Larsson, Supran, Van Gool, Asante and Dimitrov. Final heat of the 60 meters. First 3 sure to go through.
Set.
Well, certainly Larsson, and then Supran outside him, and Van Gool coming through very strongly indeed. The Dutchman takes it. Van Gool in first place. In second place it's Larsson, and over on the far side I think Pirola got the 3rd spot there. Winning time 6:71 shown on the clock. Well, Van Gool came through very nicely to take that. Not such a good start, but excellent pickup through the race, and he stretched away. But again, a fairly modest winning time, 6:71. Larsson doing all that he needed to do as well. Larsson given the time just a 100th of a second slower at 6:72. Pirola there, he took the 3rd spot, 6:75 for him. So that concludes the action, as we can look again to see Van Gool probably slowest away, or perhaps all Dimitrov, but now he really gets into his running and strides through in good form, maintaining that to the line. Larsson dipping, and over on the far side Pirola. Well, from what we've seen, not a standout lineup for the 60 meters as expected, but certainly Barnes early on could well have done a much quicker time if he hadn't eased down, and I think he has probably established himself as the favourite if he can maintain that.
I'd agree with that, but the person who also impressed me was Edeburen. I have to say, I thought he was very impressed as well. But Barnes, are absolutely right. The way he was just easing off, he was very convincingly stating his claim as the favourite.
But no major shocks in the 60 meters as a result of the final heat. Van Gool 6:71, Larsson 6:72 and Pirola 6:75, and Lopez makes it as well because his 6:76 is one of the next 6 fastest times over the 6 heats.
Well, Jasmine Sayers, she's got everything to do to no jumps with her first 2 efforts. 8th place at the moment is held by fellow Briton Abigail Irozuru at 6:50. Should be well within Sawyer's capability. She hasn't been jumping quite as far as that this year. No, that isn't going to be good enough to see her through to the final.
Yeah,
I think she knows it.
Lost a little bit of the edge that she had a couple of years ago, which you mentioned, when she was on the edge of the world top 10, but not quite able to sustain that.
No, I haven't really been following what's been going on with women's long jumping in Britain. Is there any reason? Has she had other distractions, injury problems?
Well, not that I'm particularly aware of. As I said, she's been just a bit up and down, and she competed very well in Berlin. And of course, great depth in British jumping with Proctor and Eugen as well as her and Irozuru.
Well, 6:28 for Sawyers wasn't good enough to see her through. Fatima Diame of Spain, that isn't going to see her through either. Diame outside of the qualifying positions at the moment. Fair bit to spare on the board. So Diame, well, I think it was better than 6:25, her first round effort. Well, oh, 6:46, slightly better than I did imagine. She moved up to 9th place, but didn't make the final. So there's the complete list. Well, we'll see the rest of the jumpers going through to the final, but 6 women getting beyond the automatic qualifying distance of 6:65. And the final completed by Abigail Irazoru, 6:50 being good enough to see them through to the final. There's the full list of competitors in this morning's qualification. Couple of slight surprises. Elise Lasor, another well-known name, not getting through to the final.
Well, this is the summary of the men's 60 metres. Those athletes who qualify for the semis, headed by Zikos, the Greek, who won his heat in 6:66. The little cues indicating the 6 who will join the first 3 in each race. So it took a fairly modest 6:78 to make it through to the semis. The really positive running getting underway when we come to those semi-finals. But it's a lot of sprints this morning. We'll have the hurdles later on, and we've got the women's 60 metres next.
And just like with the men, we have 6 heats in this first round of the women's 60 metres, and just like the men, we'll have the semi-finals and the finals this evening. So the first heat there, and we see the defending European indoor champion from Belgrade 2 years ago, wearing the gold bib, Asha Philip. In lane 2, we've got Jael Bestue, the 19-year-old Spaniard. Nazrani Bakar, Frenchwoman, on an upward curve, has improved to 7:39 this year. The Latvian record holder, Sindika Buksa. And Asha Philip, well, she's in the all-time top 10 with that 7:06 from a couple of years ago, has run 7:12 this year. Not the quickest of the Europeans, but still a good medal prospect. Former European under-23 champion outdoors over 100 metres of Rebecca Haase, mainstay of their very good relay teams. And Maja Mihalinik from Slovenia in lane 7.
On your mark.
6 women in this heat. First 3 to go through to tonight's semi-finals, and the next 6 non-automatic qualifiers go through as well. As they settle into their box, it's Bestui of Spain, Bakar of France, Buksa, Latvia, Philip, Great Britain, Haase, Germany, and Mihalinik of Slovenia. And Philip away very quickly, as you'd imagine. And Philip really pouring it on, no problems, doing well on the outside. Mihalinik of Slovenia, slight surprise seeing her come through in 2nd place. Good run from the Slovenian. Rebecca Haase, by contrast, not having a good run at all. But no doubt at all, from about 15 metres into that race, Asha Philip producing a very competent run in this morning's heat. 7:23 for Philip. Mihalinik equaling her season's best of 7:28. Haase, well, she gets through in 3rd place, but rather unimpressive, I have to say. So Philip powering out of her blocks. Good pickup from the Slovenian Mihalinik to take 2nd place. Haase, after struggling over the first half of the race, does pick it up and come through for 3rd.
Very nice run from Asha Philip there, coming through, doing all that she needs to do. She'll no doubt get quite a bit quicker when it comes to semi and the final. Very much a medal contender.
Oh, I think so. She's run 7:12 this year, and we've talked about this yesterday. This is quite a quick track, isn't it?
certainly is. I think conditions are pretty much ideal. It's ambient temperature as well. All the conditions right for decent fast times in sprinting.
There's no problems there for Asher Philip, and confirmation of a victory. The Briton taking the win in 7:23, followed home by Mihalanek of Slovenia, 7:28, Rebecca Haase, 7:36, and Sindika Buksa, 7:39. She'll have to wait and see whether she goes through as one of the fastest non-automatic qualifiers. May well be good enough to see her through. Well, the women's pole vault has been underway for some time. This is Sonia Malavisi, attempting to equal her personal best, the Italian. And indeed she does it, slithers over the bar. Had a very good under-20 career, now starting to come back into top form.
The situation here is that of the 19 women who started, some haven't, 18 who started, some haven't come in yet, but we have lost two competitors. Axpe of Spain, who had the best today, of 4:25, and Murto of Finland, 4:10.
Yes, coming in at this height, we'll see Holly Bradshaw and Angelika Sidorova, the Russian, competing as an authorised neutral athlete. Haven't seen anything of those yet, and waiting to come in a bit later is Stefanidi, the reigning European and world champion. This is Irina Zhuk. And she becomes the second woman to go over. Well, nice vault there from Zhuk. It's the best of 4:65. Good vault for her. Acts of height above the bar. Well, I was wondering about Zhuk. I've just checked my notes, where she is, of course, married to Vitaly Zhuk, who we saw in action in the heptathlon. Angelika Bengtsson, Swedish record holder. Oof. Rather sloppy vault, but she does have two more attempts at this height. Tina Sutic, Slovenian, not in the best of form. A couple of years ago she was vaulting in the 470s, was at US University and won numerous collegiate titles there. Well, good height, but comes down on the bar. So cross beside her name. Wondering about perhaps adjusting her run-up.
Well, there is the lineup for Heat 2 of the women's 60 metres. Toth, Andreu, Sevilla, Spanu Hatzeriga from Greece, then Svoboda of Poland, Okparaibo from Norway, and Samuel from the Netherlands. Well, three big names there on the outside, and our chance to see one of the favourites for the title of her form this year, particularly Eva Svoboda from Poland, the European leader at 7:08. Toth of Austria, national champion, goes on the inside. She's improved her best this year to 7:33. Next to her, Paraskevi Andreu from Cyprus. She was second in the Youth Olympic Games at 100 metres back in 2014. Then we have Paula Sevilla, the Spanish under-23 champion. Spanudaki Hatzeriga from Greece, the national champion there. Also had some good form at 100 meters outdoors last year. She was the silver medalist in the Mediterranean Games. Now we come to the big names. This is Eva Svoboda, twice a finalist, 8th in 2015, third last time, and the European leader this year at 7:08. Zinot Paraibo, well, she's the most experienced. She's been in no less than 4 finals from 2009 to 2015. Twice 4th in the European Outdoor Championships. A very fast starter. Look for her then. And Jamil Samuel, who really came through last year, particularly at 200 meters, where she took the bronze medal in the European Championships. She again, though, is a finalist from 2015. We have 3 of the finalists from that year here: Svoboda, Okparaibo and Samuel, all in this lineup. Svoboda here, the favourite. And look, of course, for Okparaibo just outside her, always a very fast starter, but not in the sort of form that took her to a national record of 7:10 some while ago, the Norwegian. Svoboda in 6, Okparaibo in 7, Samuel in 8. The big names in this second heat of the women's 60 meters. Seen Asha Philip win her heat comfortably. Will Svoboda fare in this one? Going in lane 6, Polish athlete. Ooh, well, we're going to lose one. Almost certainly. Sometimes it's declared a faulty start, but the camera's picked up here. Rafaela Sponudaki Hatzeriga from Greece. And there it is, 0.069. You're allowed 0.100. Most of the rest of the field were pretty slowly away, in fact. But Spanudaki Hatzeriga clearly.
Lane 5 made a false start.
She's now been declared to be disqualified. So disappointment for the young Greek athlete. So we're down to 6 runners in Heat 2. We have Toth, Andreu, Sevilla, Svoboda, Okparaibo and Samuel. First 3 sure to go through. Samuel, fastest in Europe this year at 7:08, just 100th of a second outside her personal best. She goes in lane 6. Jamil Samuel here on the outside. She's run 7:14 as a personal best. Even quicker Okparaibo, but that was a while ago. Oh, cleanly away this time. And Svoboda really getting into her running now. Toth of Austria on the far side. But it's Svoboda, it's the big 3. It's Svoboda first. Okparaibo running well to take 2nd, and Samuel in 3rd place. Very much according to form. And a fine run by Svoboda. 7:14. Well, that's substantially quicker than Asha Philip ran to win Heat 1. And really, she's putting together a splendid series of performances this year as the Polish athlete, former European junior champion, and really coming into her own this indoor season. Time confirmed as 7:14. Okparaibo matching her season's best at 7:27. And Toth, in fact, over on the far side, the Austrian who got away so well, did in fact shade Samuel, 7:33 to 7:34. Look at Svoboda very quickly into her running. Okparaibo never starts slowly, but she certainly didn't start as quick as Svoboda. Really going through well. And Toth retaining her form over on the far side there. And it was her who got the verdict just over Samuel nearest the camera. Toth equaling her personal best, the young Austrian. For me, that still confirms Svoboda as the favourite. 7:14 for Svoboda, 7:27 for Okparaibo, 7:33 for Toth. Samuel will have to wait and see, but I think 7:34 will make it through to the semis.
So now the European leader in the women's pole vault, Angelika Sidorova. She's cleared 491 recently. And first attempt at this competition, and very nicely over 450. Bags of height there. No problems for Sidorova. Got a good championship record, was the bronze medalist in 214 outdoors. So got a bronze medal, or I think silver in fact, equal silver. 214 world indoors. So this is Ninon Guillain-Romarin, French record holder at 473. Cleared that a short while ago. Yes, just checking my notes. She went over 473 in Clermont-Ferrand just a couple of weeks ago. That indoor pole vault spectacular organised by Renaud Lavigny. So we've got 3 women over 450 at the moment. Malavisi of Italy, Zhuk of Belarus, and Sidorova of Russia. And she's over, so that makes it number 4 as far as clearances at 450 is concerned. We'll get back to the pole vault a little bit later, but now it's the 3rd heat of the women's 60 meters, first round. On the outside in lane 1 is Sarah Acho. Second 2 years ago in the European under-23 100 meters. Returning after a long absence from top flight athletics, Rachel Miller, now 29 years of age. The 2017 World Under-18 100 meters champion, Ms. Ginai. And the very good German, Lisa Marie Quay. Stalwarts of German relay teams. Charlotte Wingfield of Malta. Arguably Malta's top athlete. We seem to see her at most European competitions. The Azerbaijani champion, Zakaya Hazanova. And the Slovak champion, Monika Vegatova. And on the outside in lane 8, a full complement in this heat, Estela Garcia of Spain. Experienced international, now 29 years of age.
On your marks.
2 quickest women in this heat are Miller of Britain in lane 2 and Quay of Germany in lane 4. Full lineup as they settle into their blocks. It's Acho of Switzerland in lane 1, Miller of Great Britain, I, Turkey, Quay, Germany, Wingfield, Malta, Hazanova, Azerbaijan, Vegatova, Slovakia, and Garcia of Spain.
Set.
Well, indeed, it's I who's out quickly, but now picking it up very well. It's Miller coming through strongly. Quay. Miller of Great Britain takes the win unofficially, 7:24. She's followed home by Lisa Marie Quay. Very much went to form that race. Give you confirmation of who's the third automatic qualifier in a moment. So Rachel Miller's winning time confirmed at 7:24. Lisa Marie Kwai 7:30. And Sarah Acho picks up the third automatic qualifying position and is very pleased with her performance. Well, the Turk in lane 3 had a good start, but quickly started to falter, and then Rachel Miller came through very strongly. Also, Lisa Marie Kwai, good pickup over the second half of the race. And Acho just edged out and Garcia for that third automatic qualifying spot.
Well, Miller always very well clear here, and here we get a head-on shot from her. Next to her, in fact, on 2 lanes outside of Kwai, got a very poor start, the German, but maintained her form, came through strongly for that second place. Nice running there by Rachel Miller. Really has made a huge breakthrough this season with a series of personal bests. Now representing Great Britain for the first time.
So now, as you can see, Miller coming through nicely on the replay. Just confirmation of the results. It's Miller 7:24, Kwai 7:30, Acho 7:38. Great Britain, Germany, Switzerland, they're the athletes that go through automatically through to the semi-finals this evening. Estella Garcia 7:40. We'll see whether she progresses shortly as we look now at Holly Bradshaw. Well, Bradshaw's been having a very good winter. This is her first height, and she's very well over. No problems at 450, despite quite a long wait. Been about an hour and a half as they work through some of the earlier heights. Ekaterina Stefanidi still to come in. She's told the judges she'll take her first attempt at 460. Bradshaw opting for this. 450 may well be good enough to see her through. Five women now over 450. Angelica Moser has improved to 462 this year. This good young Swiss vaulter, and she makes it 6 over 450. Moser, 21 years of age. Swiss indoor champion. Well, she's won several Swiss titles. It was the 2014 Youth Olympic champion when it was in Nanjing. She's starting to make an impact at senior level. Well, we've seen Sidorova, the Russian, competing as an authorized neutral athlete. Now it's the turn of Olga Molina. Molina, best this year at 450. And at the second time of asking, Molina adds her name to the list of those who've gone clear at 450. 7 women now over 450. Now Angelica Benson didn't have a particularly good vault with her first attempt. Well, she had a lot of height there, but then came down on the bar. Still one more attempt though for this very talented Swedish vaulter. Risen the Swedish indoor record to 481 this year. Well, sort of in clear, but then came down on top of the bar. Alexa got medals at the European Championships last year in Berlin.
Heat 4 of the women's 60 meters. Baboy, Timonovskaya, Kachur, Andriukaitis, Del Ponte, Ekelund and Tirnanić. Favourites here, Timonovskaya in 3 and Del Ponte in 6. And they're the athletes who've done the quickest times this year. So on the inside here we have Marina Baboy, 3 times the Romanian champion at this event. Personal best of 7:36. It's looking like times in the mid-7:30s will be enough to get through to the semis. This is Timonovskaya, the Belarusian, 22 years of age and making progress. She's improved her personal best this year to 7:21. Yana Kachur is the Ukrainian champion this year. She's got a best of 7:32, making her the 4th fastest in the lineup. Akvili Andriukaitis, the Lithuanian champion. She might be a bit stretched to qualify here. There's a lot of good Swiss sprinters these days, good relay team, and Angela Del Ponte, major force in that, former European under-23 finalist. This young lady, Irina Ekelund, was a brilliant junior. In fact, even younger, she was the world youth champion at 200 meters, and still just 22 years of age. Well, she will be that, in fact, later in the week. Milana Tirnanić of Serbia, third in the Balkan Championships recently from Serbia. She completes this lineup. First 3 to make it through to the semi-finals as of right. Baboy of Romania, Timonovskaya from Belarus, Kachur, Ukraine, Andriukaitis of Lithuania, Del Ponte of Switzerland, Ekelund of Sweden and Tirnanić of Serbia. This is Del Ponte of Switzerland, who's leading competitor, of course, at sprints these days. Is Kambunji, a non-competitor here in these championships. Oh no, she goes in the next heat. No, sorry. Look out for her as one of the favourites. But Del Ponte, well capable of making the semis as well. And certainly Del Ponte has got off to a good start, so too Timonovskaya. So the 2 favourites there, Del Ponte and Timonovskaya, separated by 3 lanes. They're definitely the first 2. 7:27 for Timonovskaya shown there. And I think that's been confirmed as the winning time. Del Ponte in 2nd place. So the 2 favourites going well clear of the rest of the field, and both given that same time of 7.27 seconds. It was Ekelund from Sweden who took 3rd. Ekelund just on the screen there. She's made it okay. A good start by the top athletes. Timonovskaya 2nd from the right there, and Del Ponte in the red and black of Switzerland, with Ekelund, the Swedish athlete, an isolated 3rd. Very much again going according to plan. We've had no shocks really in these 60 meters so far. Result of heat 4. Kristina Timonovskaya from Belarus winning in 7:27, same time for Angela Del Ponte of Switzerland and Irene Ekelund completing the 3 qualifiers.
And the pole vault continues. Tina Sutej of Slovenia. 2nd attempt at 450, and she's over. That's a good vault from Sutej, coming back to a little bit of form from a few years ago. Personal best has been around now for about 3 or 4 years, 471. Good clearance as well. Well, the bar will certainly rise. We've had 8 women over 450. So this is now Romana Malakova, the Czech vaulter, the Czech record holder. She's been struggling. She's needed third attempts at 4:25 and 4:40, and this is her third attempt at 4:50. Oh, slithers over it. Well, she does like to live dangerously. Nevertheless, enjoying her competition. Bit of relief there for the three-time Czech champion. So she lives to vault another day.
Yes, if she's going to make the top 8, she'll need to clear another height, though.
Without a doubt, yes. Yes, there is going to be a rising bar. It will be going up to 460. Now, Angelika Benson. In a bit of trouble. She did look as though she had bags of height on that second attempt and then came down on the bar. Oh, I was going to say gets it right, but she just nudges it off. Well, I think she's the first genuine big name casualty of this pole vault qualifying.
She can't be better than 10th equal.
Another big name, Nicoleta Kyriakopoulou, is also in a little bit of trouble. Well, no doubt that she had bags of height, but once again came down on top of the bar.
Yeah, not quite enough push off, just to give that little distance, and that's quite a shock.
Well, she'll be very disappointed with that. I think disappointment edged across her face. Now, Nicoleta Kyriakopoulou back to some sort of form. She's equalled her indoor best of 481 this winter. And she gets it right at the third time of asking. So the silver medalist from Berlin 2018, still in contention in this contest.
But again, like what we saw, she'll need to have another height because she's behind on countback, not in the top 8.
Still to come into this competition, her compatriot Ekaterini Stefanidi. But we progressed nicely with the women's 60 meters heats. This is the 5th of 6 heats in the first round. Kiara Seidlova, Czech national record holder at 7:20. Matilda Kramer of Denmark. And the Israeli record has improved this year to 7:34. Just 18, the Irish sprinter Lauren Roy. And there were very good Frenchwomen on our day. Carol Zahi ran 7:11 last year. Not quite in as good a form this year so far. But one of the medal contenders, we feel, Majinga Kabunji. Well, last year ran 7:03 to move up to 5th on the European all-time list. Quite close to that this year at 7:08. 3rd at last year's World Indoor Championships when they were held in Birmingham.
On your mark.
So from the inside, Seidlova, Czech Republic, Kramer, Denmark, Van der Vieken, Luxembourg, Weissman, Israel, Roy, Ireland, Zahi, France, and in shot, as you can see her settling into the blocks, Mojinga Kabunji of Switzerland.
Set.
Well, it's Zahi who's out quickly. So too Weissman, the Israeli, in the centre of the picture. Well, Zahi came through to take the win. Mojinga Kabunji really was left in her blocks there. Had a lot of work to make up. I think she got through for second place, but it's a very tight finish. Zahi 7:29. So close to her season's best for the French woman, but Mojinga Kabunji, well, got through 7:31. National record for the fast-starting Israeli Diana Weissman in third place at 7:33. She's 20 years of age, the Israeli. Let's look at that race again, I hope, because Mojinga Kabunji, I mean, she's been racing very well this year, but got absolutely left in her blocks. Well, Weissman in the centre got a blistering start, out very quickly. Zahi made up ground over the second half of the race, but Kabunji really only started to make up ground in the final 20 metres. Not the quickest of heats, that still is in the grasp of Eva Svoboda at 7:19. 7:14, I should say, for Svoboda in that second heat. So Zahi 7:21, Kabunji 7:31, national record for Weissman of Israel 7:33. And Matilda Kramer 7:34, equaling the Danish national record, and that will probably be good enough to see her through. Now the third of a trio of very good Greeks, Polak, and it stays up. Well, sometimes in pole vaulting you have to ride your luck. But Eleni Claudia Polak gets over 450 at the third time of asking to equal her personal best. Svabikova, Czech vaulter, third attempt at 450. No. So she's eliminated. So we've now got 11 vaulters at 450. Michaela Major of Sweden passed at this height, so she'll come back in again at 460, and at 460 we'll also have the first appearance of the world and European champion Ekaterini Stefanidi. Not quite the height there for Svabikova. So Stefanidi, Ekaterini Stefanidi, 2 years ago the European Athlete of the Year. Defending European indoor champion, reigning world, European and Olympic champion outdoors. Basically, she's got the lot. And she makes easy work of 460. Personal best of 490, so if she was to equal that, the assumption that she does get through to the final, That would equal also the championship record set by Jelena Isinbayeva back in 2005. No problems there for Stefanidi.
Well, almost certainly that'll be the only vault she needs today, because to gainsay that, we need to have 8 women over 470.
Yes, well, we've got 12 women over 450, and it's difficult to see more than 8 of them progressing over 460. A few of them did have quite a lot of trouble at that previous height. There's how it looks at the moment. Stefanidi, the first to vault and the first woman over at 460. 12 more women still in this competition, though. As you've seen, some of the others being eliminated. Bengtsson, the big surprise. her compatriot Meyer passing at 450, coming back in. So Moser, the Swiss indoor record holder, her first attempt at 460. Good height, just tickles the bar, but it stays up. Well, Moser, one of the rising talents in European pole vaulting.
Sixth and final heat of the women's 60 metres. Scott, Awua, Hook, Bazzolo, Östland, Skippers, Groningen and Sorrell. Quite a mixture here of youngsters and experience. On the inside, we've got two 19-year-olds, both of whom won medals at the World Junior Championships last year. Molly Scott here on the splendid Irish team, which took the World Relay silver medal. And then Crystal Awua of Britain, who took bronze medals in the World Juniors, both at the individual and at the relay. And having a splendid indoor season, she's got her best down to 7.19, a rising talent. Zayan Hook from Gibraltar, well, a personal best of 8:33. I think she'll enjoy the race longer than the rest. Lorraine Bazzolo of Portugal, formerly from the Congo originally, and she's a talented sprinter with a best of 7:27, the national champion. Elin Östland of Sweden, second in their national championships this year. Again, she might struggle to qualify, but she's got a best of 7:39. Now the biggest name in the field, Daphne Skippers, the champion from 4 years ago in 2015. Twice the world champion, of course, outdoors at 200 meters. That's the longest distance, suits her best, but she's pretty good at all the sprint distances. Then we have Helene Rønningen, the Norwegian champion, a youngster at 21 years of age. And Claudia Sorok, the Hungarian champion, another newcomer really, at 22 years of age. So we've got quite a range here, from the oldest in the field, who is Bazzolo of Portugal by some considerable margin, with the experience of Daphne Skippers and the promise of the youngsters, Scott, and above all Awua. Daphne Skippers then, the tall Dutch figure who of course started out to prominence as a heptathlete, has given that up for some years now to concentrate on sprinting, at which she's had very considerable success. Former champion, going here in lane 6. There's Awua of Great Britain in lane 2. Second in the British Championships.
Set.
Well, Awua very quickly away indeed. Skippers working her way through the field as she does. Had she called her? Yes, Skippers catches Awua. And then I think it's Bazzolo possibly who got third, but certainly the big favourites well clear there. Skippers, relatively slow start compared to Awua, but the long striding Dutch woman took her through to victory. 7:24 confirmed as the winning time there. And Awua on her senior debut has made a good start with 7:26 there, just behind Skippers in second place. Let's get confirmation of third in a moment or two. It was indeed, as I said, Bazzolo who got a time of 7.33. And Sorok of Hungary, fourth at 7:37, which is enough to go through. So the first 4 from this final heat are through to the semi-finals. Experience of Skippers and the youthful promise of Awua are first 2 in that race. Awuwa very quickly away, stocky figure. The long striding skippers gets it by the line. Let's have a look at skippers, the form. She hasn't been in quite as good form in the last couple of years, really, I suppose. She's always thereabouts in the top ranks of world sprinters.
Well, she always has a problem starting on the indoors just because of her sheer size compared to some of the other more compact sprinters. Of course, two-time defending world outdoor champion over 200 meters, which seems to be her best distance. Seems to have recovered from the domestic accident which was reported. She had a fall down the stairs. I don't see any visible bruising.
Daphne Skippers, the winner of the final heat in 7.24 from Crystal Awuwa 7.26 and Lorraine Bazzolo 7.33, with Sorok also making it through, matching her personal best of 7.37. So the women who progress, they're headed by Svoboda, clearly the fastest at 7.14. Shouldn't read too much into that, of course, at this stage, but I think for me she's still the favourite. And then big names behind her, Phillip and Chippers, Miller, Awuwa, the three British athletes, and the fastest five there, Kambunji. Big name, but she started so slowly in her race that she had to work her way up, but she's qualified okay. And it took, well, even 7.40 was enough to get through.
Well, Irina Zhuk now attempting 460. She had a very nice vault at 450. Clear at her two attempts so far, 440, 450, and now at 460. She's pleased.
Well, she's established a new level really this winter, in fact. Very talented athlete.
Yeah, it's just 2 centimeters shy of her personal best indoors at 462. I'll have to look up. I'm just wondering whether she's a better vaulter than her husband.
Good question. I'll help you for that. I can't remember offhand, but I'll look it up, Phil.
In the meantime, we're looking at Michaela Mayer returning to competition. She passed at 450. Former Swedish indoor record holder Bengtsson, who we've seen eliminated, grabbing that back earlier this winter. Tickles the bar, but it stays up.
Well, the answer to your question, Vitaly Zhuk, who we're seeing in action, of course, in the heptathlon, he has done 490 in the vault, so she's got a little way to go to catch him.
Brushed it with her knees going up, slithered around it. The bar moved on the stanchions, but it stayed up.
I think brushing it with her knees pushed it back onto the pegs a little bit, didn't it?
Well, she seemed to just roll around it, didn't she? Yeah. She must have hit it. The amount of contact there. So Tina Sutic of Slovenia. Now the 18-time Slovenian champion clatters into the bar there. Just a quick shout out at this moment for European Athletics International partners, Spa, Le Gruyere and Eurovision, without whom we'll be struggling to put on this European Athletics live stream, which I hope you're enjoying, coming from Glasgow. Tina Shute, I've just been checking my pronunciation guide. I've been probably pronouncing it just a little bit incorrectly. Do this one though. Nicoletta Kyriakopoulou. Well, she needed 3 attempts to get over 4.50 meters. Has had a good winter. She's equalled her personal best of 4.81. Well, a lot of height there, but she comes down on top of the bar. We've got the barriers in the centre of the track now, and we turn our attention to the men's 60 metres hurdles, the first round. 4 heats. And going in this first heat, well, 2 very good athletes indeed. Orlando Ortega, who's improved the Spanish record to 7:49 this year, and the reigning world indoor champion, Andrew Pozzi. In lane 2, it's the Latvian champion, Kristaps Saitens. 9 times Portuguese champion, Russell Darbo. And Orlando Ortega, fastest European this year, 7:49. His personal best, in fact, was when he was under Cuban affiliation. Brian Peña, Switzerland. There's Dominik Bocinek. Poles always seem to produce some good hurdlers. Well, defending European champion and world champion, sporting a beard at these championships, Andy Pozzi. Left it late to qualify, ran 7:67 at the Dusseldorf IAAF World Indoor Tour meeting to get his place here. And Lorenzo Perini, who was a very good junior, now starting to make an impact in the senior ranks and has improved this winter to 7:66. Well, the qualifying conditions, first 3 get through automatically, and the next 4 non-automatic qualifiers. Semi-final and final tomorrow. Semi-final, in fact, in the morning session. Well, taking a little bit of time to settle, but from the inside it's Saitens, Darbo, Ortega, Peña, Bocinek, Pozzi and Perini. Men to look out for: Orlando Ortega lane 4, Andy Pozzi lane 7.
Set.
Pozzi out well, so to Ortega. Now Ortega really getting into his running. Pozzi chasing him, but it's Ortega. Pozzi and taking the 3rd automatic qualifying place. Out in lane 8, Lorenzo Perini of Italy. That heat very much went to form, and a good one. Win and run from Orlando Ortega. 7:61. Pozzi, good start. Couldn't quite hold off Ortega, but Ortega going through very well in the second half of the race. Pozzi equaling his season's best of 7:62, and Perini getting through in 3rd. Yes, Ortega and Pozzi first to rise and then striding their way down the track. Pozzi just looking as though he just eased up off the last hurdle.
Yes, I think he'll be quite encouraged by that. I mean, 2 years ago he was fastest in the world at 7:45 and he's some way off that, but he's getting better race by race, and this time 7:62 will, I think, be pretty satisfactory. If you can continue to improve through to the semis and the final, then he could compete very creditably.
Ortega also looked very relaxed though. Ortega winning in 7:61, Andy Pozzi 7:62, and Lorenzo Perini 7:74. Some way back to 4th place, Dominik Bocinek at 7:92. He'll have to wait and see whether that's good enough to get him through as a non-automatic qualifier. Well, Angelika Sidorova flew over her opening height of 450. And clears 460 in similar fashion. Nice clearance there for the Russian.
Very much one of the most consistent vaulters at the top of women's pole vaulting.
Yes, all the way back to 2014 when she was starting to win medals at major international competitions. Well, Holly Bradshaw, she also came in at the previous height, 450, and went over very comfortably. So Bradshaw, the Briton, has had a good winter.
So we'll wait for the coat to be removed in the women's locker. We head underway with Yuri Sincora.
European under-23 champion back in 2011 and has consistently performed very well. Third at the European Championships in Berlin last year. Well, just not enough height there. Didn't really take off terribly well. But 2 more attempts at this height for Bradshaw.
Well, there's the heptathlon position after the first event, the 60-meter hurdles. Carl Robert Siluri going well clear with 9.73. Tim Duckworth, 9.36. Jorge Urania, 7.97. Rowe, Beckman, Samuelsson. No doubt is a change with this next event coming up. The long jump, of course. Sikora, Rolnin, Zuk, Oiglein, Skjurinov and Van der Pletsen. Well, perhaps the 2 biggest names in the field at the back there, but expect them to come through. Because one of the great things about the multi-events is that different athletes have different strengths. And that's the starting order for the long jump. Sikora will lead off, the former world junior champion. Look out for Duckworth. He's a terrific long jumper, probably the best in the field. Well over 8 meters is his best. Urania, Skjurinov, Zuk, all solid medal contenders. Samuelsson, Beckman, who ran so well in the 60 meters. And it's Rowe to get things underway. It's a very good start by the Norwegian there. But he is a very good long jumper. He has got a best of 7.81. And that makes him second best on an indoor best. Duckworth 7.80, but as I said, Duckworth has been over 8 meters outdoors. Perfect for Rowe on the board. Decent points there with that performance. 942 of them for his 7 meters 53.
Rolnin set his personal best this year at 7.45. The lead at the moment is with Martin Rowe at 7.53.
Second heat of the hurdles, we have Schuks, Demsar, Banga, Ekholm, Contreras, Dragosevic, Kasyanov and Duvalidis. Interesting to see Kasyanov running. He, of course, is best known as a multi-eventer. Topped world indoor heptathlon, a couple of silver medals in that. Schuks of Hungary has been at university in Britain last year, at Garth University. Going back to Hungary as a national champion this year. Then Filip Demsar from Slovenia. Won the Balkan Junior title this year, the youngest in the field, youngest in the lineup, 18 years of age. Then Aurel Manga, well, he was the bronze medalist in the World Indoor Championships last year. Bit of a surprise that, but the Frenchman, part of a very strong group of French hurdlers in recent times. Then Frederick Ekholm, well, he was a former World Youth Octathlon silver medalist, so a multi-talented man. Yedel Contreras has been a Spaniard for some years now, but formerly a Cuban. He was 7th in the Europeans outdoors at 110 hurdles back in 2016. This is Luka Trgovčević from Serbia, born in Italy, studied in Rome. And Kasyanov, the decathlete, the best at hurdles of 7.80, and obviously keen to compete, even though he doesn't feel right to do the multi-events just at the moment. And then the most experienced competitor in this lineup, Konstantinos Duvalidis of Greece, twice a finalist in these championships back in 2013 and 2015. 31 years of age, making him the youngest in the field. whereas Demsar, the Slovenian, at 18 goes in lane 2. Favourites here, we've already seen Ortega qualify. I expect Contreras will expect to qualify as well. And the fastest man in the lineup, Manga, goes in lane 3. Manga in 3, Contreras in 5. So the full lineup: Žuks, Demsar, Manga, Ekholm, Contreras, Trgovčević, Kasyanov, and Duvalidis.
Set.
Oh, a flying start, but Contreras, well, I think he was away too quickly. So that's one of the big names that we'll wait to see whether that's confirmed on the automatic system. But clearly, to the naked eye, it looked like Contreras had gone very much too soon. There's the reaction times confirmed. 0.051 and it's 0.100. That's the maximum, or the minimum rather, allowed. There he is, quite clearly in the centre there. So one of the favourites out, surely, in the second heat,
Lane 5,
the 60-metre hurdles. There's the announcement coming through.
Disqualified.
I expect he knew, but he doesn't seem to be reacting at the moment. Just waiting for the official to show him the card.
Yes, no complaints there from Contreras. I think he knew exactly what was going on.
Right, well, we're down to 7 men in Heat 2, and we've lost the second favourite in this lineup of Žuks of Hungary, Demsar of Slovenia, Manga of France, Ekholm of Sweden, Trgovčević of Serbia, Kasyanov of Ukraine, and Duvalidis of Greece. Here is Aurel Manga going in lane 3. 5th 2 years ago in Belgrade in these championships, and he moved up to 3rd in the World Indoors last year.
Set.
Well, Žuks very well away, so too Manga, with Ekholm outside him. And it is Manga, and Duvalidis running very well indeed. I think Manga got it, but Duvalidis and Žuks, the other two who finished in the top 3 there in that race. Manga's time confirmed at 7.64, just slightly slower than we saw in the first heat for the first couple of competitors there. Aurel Manga. Nice red headband, makes him easy to distinguish. And Duvalidis given the verdict for second place at 7.69. The Greek who's nearest to the camera here, dipping very well with all his experience, and Žuks looking across from the far side, has taken 3rd place, matching his personal best at 7.69. Well, going according to form, except, of course, for the loss of Contreras, who would have been expected to be up in the mix. Now then, we're picking up the young man who did so well in the first event of the day, the 60 metres. This is Karl Robert Saljuri from Estonia. Oh, a very decent jump there in the mid-7 metre range for Saljuri, who's got an indoor best of 7.61. Well, got a little to spare, but that's pretty good to start. And good points for Saljuri there, as his jump is measured at 7.49. It's all a question of psyching oneself up and getting ready. And this is Tim Duckworth. This is one of his parade events, the long jump together with the high jump. 8 metre jumper outdoors, 780 indoors. Oh, and he must be close to that too. Well ahead of the lead, which is superimposed there. Fine start by Tim Duckworth. Based in the USA. Father went there to work. And Tim Duckworth brought up there, but retaining British citizenship. And an excellent start for Duckworth. 7.79, just a centimetre off his best ever indoors. Result of the second heat of the hurdles, a win for Aurel Manga in 7.64. Duvalidis, season's best of 7.69. And Shooks matching his personal best at 7.69. Those three well clear of Ekholm, fourth at 7.89.
Next to jump is Vitaly Zhuk of Belarus, which is related to the Zhuk competing in the vault.
And we move along to the third of the 4 heats in the men's 60 metres hurdles. This is actually quite a loaded heat. 3 to go through as of right. One of the favourites, the Cypriot in lane 2, Milan Trgovčević. On the inside in lane 1, it's Tobias Furrer of Switzerland. Yeah, Milan Trgovčević, the Cypriot, Serbian background, ran 7:52 in Dusseldorf just a couple of weeks ago. Willem Belothian, medalist in 2016 outdoors and a very, very good under-20 athlete just a few years ago. Vitaly Padahonka, been around, got a lot of international experience, the Belarus champion. Bohdan Kronomaz of Ukraine. Egdot Sevler, 21 years of age, has improved to 7.85 this year. And Damien Sikia, fourth at the last 2 European Championships outdoors, over 110 metres hurdles. On the outside, Max Karaucha of Sweden. Another 21-year-old who's improved this year. Karaucha having run 7.82.
On your marks.
Well, from the inside, it's Furrer, Trgovčević, Belothian, Padahonka, Kronomaz, Sevler, Sikia, and Karaucha. Really, we're looking at lanes 2 and 3 and 7 with Sikia on the outside.
Set.
And indeed, it is Trgovčević who's out very quickly. So too Belothian, but Belothian clattering into the hurdles. And coming through strongly, Padahonka for 3rd place. But it's Trgovčević and Belothian. Good run from the Cypriot, who has the potential to get a rare medal for his country at these championships. 7.65 confirmed his winning time. Willem Belothian, the Guadeloupe-based Frenchman, 7.69 following him home. And Vitaly Padahonka, 7.79. With Sikia, well, expecting a little bit more from the pole, but he's got 7.82 and has a good chance of going through as one of the fastest non-automatic qualifiers. So Belothian, the quickest out of the blocks, but clatters the first 2 hurdles. Trgovčević, much tidier over the barriers and comes through to take the win and has the luxury of easing up over the last couple of strides.
So if you want to take
Padahonka runs well just to take third place, the third automatic qualifying spot. Milana Trgovčević, third on the European list this year. He's been running very well indeed, very consistently, just 1/100th shy of his Cypriot record this winter. Pulls that Cypriot record at 7:51. Confirmation of the results: Trgovčević 7:65, Bolosian 7:69, Padahonka 7:79. They're the three men who've earned the big cues and will go through to tomorrow morning's semi-finals. Well, she had a good clearance at 4:50. It's Ninon Guillaume-Romarin. That personal best is also a French indoor record at 4:73, which she cleared in Clermont-Ferrand just 2 weeks ago. And she's over. She's having a very good winter, the Frenchwoman, vaulting very well. Olga Molina. Well, this would equal her indoor best if she can get over it. Needs to clear. She's not going to go through if she doesn't. No. Never gets in the air and gets the red flag. Bitterly disappointed. Well, we've seen 6 women over at 4:60 at the moment. She's Romana Malakova. Well, she's ridden her luck with 3 third-time clearances at 4:25, 4:40 and 4:50. Not on this occasion, though. So Malakova's interest in this competition comes to an end. She won't go forward to tomorrow's final. So another 5 vaulters still to take their third attempts, including Sonia Malavisi. Equalled her personal best at 4:50. And she brings the bar down. Now, Malavisi's currently in 8th on the standings at the moment. If the remaining jumpers were all to fail, she would squeeze into the final. Four more vaulters to go at this height, though. Any of them clear, that's Malavisi edged out.
Yes, and we've got big names to come, haven't we, with Bradshaw and Kyriakopoulou, who both had 2 failures. Starting the second round now of the long jump in the heptathlon, and here's Martin Rowe, whose 7:53 is the third best that we've seen so far. Duckworth 7:79, and Van der Plaetsen with 7:57. So here's Rowe. Oh, another very good jump indeed. Surely an improvement. White flag raised. Well, as I said, he had a best of 7:81, so getting close to that. Norwegian record holder at the heptathlon with a score of 5.951. This, I think one could certainly say this is his best event. He's a bit weaker in the high jump. That's the one that slightly lets him down, surprisingly, since he's good at the other jumps. 7:49. No, I thought it was more, but it wasn't. So Rowe's best remains 7:53. As we come to the 4th and final heat of the 60-meter hurdles, with a very big name here, the champion of the last 2 occasions of this event, Pascal Martineau-Lagarde, goes in lane 4. From the inside, lane 2, we have Artyom Shamatirin from Ukraine, their national champion this year, and he's got a personal best of 7:70. Imo Laka, experienced Finnish athlete who's having a very good indoor season and has in fact improved his best this year to 7.67. This is Martin Ødegaard. Well, he seems to be in very good shape. He's got a season's best of 7.52, which is second to Ortega on the European list for this season. Third, first and first in the last 3 editions of this meeting. Anton Levin from Sweden, their national champion. Best of 7.79. Then we have Enrique Lopez, the third of the Spaniards that we've seen today. And only 18 years of age, second in the World Youth Championships. Andreas Martinsen, a very experienced competitor from Denmark, no less than 16 national titles to his credit at indoors and outdoor hurdling. His best was 7.68 back in 2017. And David King as a roar for the British athlete, who's the British champion this year. Was he not running then? He's come through and we've seen him qualify. So King, every expectation of also making it, because he is the second quickest in this lineup on form so far this year.
On your mark.
But Martin Ødegaard, the big star of the event, one of the best hurdlers in the world for several years now. Shamatirin of Ukraine, Laka of Finland, Martin Ødegaard of France, Levin of Sweden, Lopez of Spain, Martinsen of Denmark, King of Great Britain.
Set.
Martin Ødegaard safely away. Good start also by the British athlete King, and Laka of Finland going very well. It's Martin Ødegaard, then very close between Laka and King. Those three clearly well away. Looked very easy for Martin Ødegaard, just as we'd seen earlier from Ortega, the 2 fastest men, both winning their heats with very comfortable style. And they're going according to plan with King and Laka going through. Martin Ødegaard's time confirmed at 7.64. King getting, I think, 7.65. Well, in fact, Laka just been given the verdict ahead of him, but they were pretty much together, opposite sides of the track, making it necessary to read the photo, of course, to determine who was ahead. And there's a personal best for Laka, 7.65, and King 7.66. So King away well, nearest to us here. Martin Ødegaard, relatively conservative start, beginning nicely into his running, very fluent and fluid over the hurdles. Good run by Laka, that's his best we've seen from him in the championship before, and those three are very long way clear of the rest of the field. Levin of Sweden at 7.84, back in 4th place. So that completes the hurdling, and the big favourites all safely through, and this is one of them, certainly Martin Ødegaard, bidding for a hat-trick of titles. Result of heat 4 was a win for Pascal Martin Ødegaard at 7.64. Personal best for Laka of Finland, 7.65. David King, 7.66. And the little cues showing that although it was only in the 7.8s, Levin, Lopez and Martinsen will join them in the semi-finals. Because this is the summary of what's happened. Ortega, the fastest of the day, 7.61, followed by the big names of the event, Pozzi, Manga and Martin Ødegaard. Laka, a personal best. Trajković getting through without any trouble. So too King, making it 2 British athletes through. And a number of personal bests or season's bests. And 7.87 or better was enough to qualify.
Well, those men will be back in action tomorrow morning. In action now is Tina Šulej of Slovenia. 4.60 her third attempt. Ooh, it would look like it was going to stay up there. It looked like she'd rode a lot, but it was just too much contact and the bar comes down. So Šulej doesn't progress to the final. So now it's the turn of Nicoleta Kyriakopoulou, vaulting well earlier in the competition, and finally it all clicks at 4.60. She becomes the 7th woman over this height. So 2 Greeks through to the final without any doubts. Kyriakopoulou and her well-known compatriot Ekaterina Stefanidi. Just a couple more vaulters at 4.60 meters, including possibly Holly Bradshaw. This is another Greek, Eleni Claudia Polak. No. So she's out. Well, just 1 vaulter remaining, Holly Bradshaw, and by my reckoning, she's lying in 8th place and doesn't need to take a final vault. She was straight over at 4.50. And she's the only remaining competitor in the competition. I think she could potentially just tell the judges she'll pass on her final attempt. Indeed, that is what she's done, as you can see. So there's the 8 women who'll progress to tomorrow's final. 7 women getting over 4.60. Bradshaw did indeed pass her final attempt at 4.50 and gets through to the final as the 8th qualifier. A few personal bests in there, including equaling best for Malavisi, the Italian, and Polak, the Greek, as well as Svabikova from Czech Republic. Well, just 1 or 2 slight surprises there, including Angelika Bengtsson not getting through.
In the second round of the heptathlon long jump now, this is Ilya Shkiryanov. None of the other competitors has made any improvements. In fact, Duckworth doing a no jump, but Shkiryanov now, can he better his initial 7.36? Well, I think the answer is yes. The red line superimposed there with that opening distance, so a little bit better for the Russian authorized neutral athlete. Some of the Russians allowed back into international competition, provided they've gone through enough doping test procedures. Shkiryanov producing his best so far. So we're coming to the end of the second round of the jumping. Those are the standings. Duckworth clearly the best jumper so far, and Shkiryanov improving to 7.53. Now we're coming to the women's 60-meter hurdles.
Yes, the last action on the track this morning. We have 4 heats of the women's 60 meters hurdles. The first round, qualifying conditions the same as the men. First 3 in each heat, and the 4 fastest non-automatic qualifiers go through. There's the first heat, and it includes the reigning European outdoor champion over 100 meters hurdles, Elvira Herman. Well, she's not been quite as impressive indoors. She has gone under 8 seconds, which is the benchmark of true world-class hurdling. Sasha Alexandra is on the cusp of that benchmark, has improved to 8.02 this year, the 19-year-old, very impressive Frenchwoman. 22 years of age now. Elvira Herman won the European Athletics Promising Athlete of the Year accolade for 2018. Luminosa Boglioli, 10 performer. Fastest woman in the field, Klaudia Sikars, Polish champion, ran 7.95 in Turon just a few weeks ago. Olympia Barbosa, perhaps an outsider to get into the qualifying positions. The Portuguese hurdler, Natalia Rokishka. And on the outside, Matilda Bogdanov of Finland. One of 2 good Finnish hurdlers in this competition. We'll see Noralotta Neziri coming up a little bit later. The attention on Herman, but the woman in form is in lane 5, Claudia Sicars. There we see her as she just starts to settle into her blocks. So from the inside, from lane 2, Alessandrini of France, Herman, Belarus, Bogliolo, Italy, Sicars, Poland, Barbosa, Portugal, Bukiewska, Ukraine, Bogdanov of Finland. Reigning European champion outdoors, Herman in lane 3. Well, it's Sicars who's out very quickly. Also the Italian alongside her, Bogliolo, but Herman now getting into her running. Over the final 2 hurdles, she really started to impress and pulled away for the win. Not the best of starts for Elvira Herman. Sicars did well out of the blocks, but really once Herman got into her stride in the second half of the race, it was a very effective bit of hurdling. 8:11, Sicars 8:13, and Bogliolo just a shade outside her personal best at 8:15. Here we see again Herman, not the quickest out of her blocks. That was the Pole and the Italian alongside her. But then over the final 2 hurdles, she was very quick between the barriers and then pulled away just to get the verdict. Not too much to read into that. We do have the semi-finals tomorrow morning, but it did go the way of the expected qualifiers. Belarus, Poland and Italy. Bogdanov perhaps slightly disappointing, just a bit further back than we might have expected. So she's obviously had a very good winter. Confirmation of the results. Elvira Herman 8:11, Sicars 8:13, Bogliolo 8:15. Belarus, Poland and Italy are the 3 automatic qualifiers.
Samuelsson in the long jump. This is his second round jump, having opened with 7:39. Oh, there's consistency. It looked to be just a centimetre or 2 over that opener, which is that reddish purple line there on the screen. 7:43 is his season's best this year. And Samuelsson there, and indeed matching that season's best at 7:43. New German talent, Andreas Beckmann up next. Started with 7:11. He goes a bit farther here. It's on the low 7-meter territory. Beckmann, the German indoor champion, his first year as a senior, still 19 years of age. Germans, of course, only got 1 competitor here. Their top men not competing this indoor season. Nico Freimut and Niklas Kaul, of course, Brugger and Abeli. They've really got a host of multi-event talent. But as it is, they're represented here by this youngster, who has improved to 7:23. Now then, we start the 3rd round with Rowe, who's got a couple of consistent jumps in. 7:53 and 7:49. 3rd best of the jumpers so far. And, well, it looks very close again. Very consistent series here. Maybe slight improvement. We'll judge that in a moment. And who comes here with indoor best of 7:81. Decent points here in the long jump. Should move him up in the overall standings. With this completion of the second event following the 60s earlier. Brewer, the Norwegian record holder, hasn't gone over 6,000 points. He could do so here, and 7.53. Well, it matches his first round jump, so very consistent series. The roll now of France next up. Roll now started at 7.44, then he had a 7.38 in the second round. Before these two, in fact, Sikora started the third round with another no jump, so he's got a best of 7.36 today. So roll now, third jump in the heptathlon one jump. Kevin Mayer, the great French multi-eventer, of course, the world record holder now in the decathlon, has been competing a little bit indoors, but didn't want to compete here. He's going to concentrate on the outdoor season. So Rolnau won the French title and is competing for them here. No improvement there. So Rolnau 7.44, which gets him a further 920 points.
Carry bag. Is that the best you can do? You cushion or you carry it back? Where is it from? A leg and a leader, and the local retailer.
Second heat of the women's 60-meter hurdles. Karekes, Sein, Ivančević, Ayaz, Plotitsina, Roleda and Bendrat. So a quality lineup certainly for this particular race, with the field headed by Cindy Roleda going in lane 7. From the inside then it's Greta Karekes, who's won 7 Hungarian titles indoors and out. Educated in the USA, and she's got a best of 8.02. This is Awa Sein, the Senegal-born French athlete. Only 7th in the French Championship, but nonetheless she's done enough to get chosen for their team. Andrea Ivančević, well, she ran in Britain recently. She was 2nd in the Birmingham Grand Prix meeting. The Croatian, who's their national record holder at 7.91. Seval Ayaz, the 18-year-old Turkish athlete, recently won the Balkan title. Much taller figure of Hanna Plotitsina, who's won no less than 9 Ukrainian titles at 60-meter hurdles indoors. Twice a finalist in these championships, 4th 2 years ago. And Cindy Roleda, European champion outdoors in 2016, and the defending champion here, the gold bib on, Cindy Roleda of Germany. And the field completing by Stephanie Bendrat of Austria. Again, a multiple Austrian champion with a best ever of 8.02. Well, Roleda, Ivančević and Plotitsina have all broken 8 seconds this year. So this is a pretty loaded heat, in fact.
On your marks.
First 3 to go through, and then 4 more on times from the 4 heats. Cindy Roleda also twice a world indoor finalist at this distance of 60-meter hurdles. Karekes, Sein, Ivančević, Ayaz, Plotitsina, Roleda, Bendrat.
Set.
Well, away they go. This is start by Sein, but Roleda now getting into our running. Karekes of Hungary over on the far side, but it is Roleda who's first to cross the line. Next 3 are pretty much line abreast, in fact. I think it was Ivančević from Croatia who just took 2nd place. Karekes was certainly up there, and Plotitsina as well, but Roleda confirmed as the winner, and she won in 8.04. Well, we had 4 very talented athletes there. I'm sure they'll all go through to the semi-finals when we look at who are the next quickest. Kijanović was in second place at 8:09. Then Ivanović, in fact, shaded by 100th of a second. And Plotitsina pretty close at 8:15. And I'm sure that will be enough. Let's look at it again. Roller did a nice smooth run really throughout this competition. Going away from Plotitsina and over on the far side. Good dip there by Ivanović. But it was Kijanović who just stayed ahead. You can just see there on the photo. Kijanović right at the top of the picture. Got second place. Those four will go through, I'm sure. 3 is a right. And Plotitsina with a time of 8:15. Well, we can see Roeder on the left and Plotitsina on the right. Height of the hurdles, we've long said, is probably a little too low for these women. Unlike the men, when you get a great pattering of hurdles, the women tend to be much more smooth over the hurdles. They could really do by being raised a few inches, centimeters. Cindy Roeder winning heat 2 in 8.04 from Greta Kijanović 8:09 and Andrea Ivanović 8:10. Plotitsina in fourth at 8:15. Now then, Tim Duckworth, his second attempt was a no jump, but he still leads quite comfortably with his opening 7:79. Another fine jump, pretty much on line with his opener. And he's certainly proving to be the best long jumper there. And slightly rueful smile, he didn't improve, I don't think, with that particular performance. But he's had a good morning's work, and this will take him into the lead after 2 events. It was in fact 7:74, so 7:79 worth 1,007 points. So we will have a new leader after 2 events, I'm sure. So Laurie could yet prove me wrong, I guess. Van der Pletsen now improving. So 7:57, that's the second best long jump so far from a man who's one of the favourites. Similar, no improvement, I don't think. So Van der Pletsen, who is in 12th and last place in the 60 metres, will certainly move up in the standings with this long jump performance that he's put on. Not getting so close to his personal best, which is 7:78, but he's made a good comeback after a lot of injury problems. And there he has 7:42 at the end. So 7:57, 9:52 points for the Belgian. And now we have Jorge Urania, particularly excels indoors at the multi-events. He started with a fairly modest for him, 7:29. Can he improve on that in his third jump? Yes, I think he can. There we go. A little bit better from the Spaniard. Certainly one of the medal candidates, but I think this was proved to be a bit of a disappointment for him, the long jump, because he has a best of 7:73 and hasn't got particularly close to that. The man who's the reigning silver medal. Oh, well, that's one of the reasons why, because he's got so much to spare there. Nonetheless, it is his best of the day. See what it comes out at. There we go, 7:39. 7:39, 8th best. 908 points.
Well, the third heat of the women's 60 metres hurdles first round. Just about to get underway, and there's the 7 women. Got the former European indoor champion, 2 times European indoor champion, Alina Talai, running in lane 4. She's one of 2 women in this field who've gone under 8 seconds this year, the other being on the inside, the Finnish record holder, Noraleta Naziri. And there is Naziri, former European under-20 champion. Outdoors, over 100 metres hurdles. She's improved her Finnish record to 7:97 this year. Ivana Lonkarek of Croatia, where we saw Ivanović go through in the previous heat. Alina Talay, 785 to Talay's name. Very, very good hurdler. Tilda Johansson, well, just 18 years of age. Bit of a tall order for her to get into the qualifying positions, but she has a best of 7 of 8.14. Slovak hurdler Stanislava Lashkava. Luka Kozak. Well, we've seen some good hurdling in the previous heat from Greta Kedekes. And this woman has already got a European Indoor Championships medal to her name after finishing 3rd in the heptathlon. Terrific 5 events for Solène Ndama. It's worth remembering that she's the European under-20 champion at 100 meters hurdles. The 21-year-old French woman has a best of 8.03. So should be in contention to get through to the semi-finals. From the inside, it's Naziri of Finland, Lonkarek of Croatia, Talay Belarus, Johansson Sweden, Lashkakova of Slovak Republic, Kozak of Hungary, and on the outside in lane 8, Ndama of France.
Set.
Well, it's Kozak, the Hungarian, who gets a very good start. Now Naziri starting to pick it up as well. And then Ndama comes through quickly out in lane 8 over the final 2 hurdles. So a big surprise there. Alina Talay had a poor run. Well, the verdict's been given to Ndama. 8.04, just 100th outside her personal best. Naziri, who did well over the first half of the race, getting 2nd, 8.07. And Kozak, quick starting, had a very good start, the Hungarian. Again, just a few hundredths outside her personal best at 8.08. And Alina Talay at the moment not in a qualifying position. The 2-time European indoor champion from 2.13, 2.15. Just never looks as quick as she's done in the past between the hurdles.
But no problem for her. She's through certainly to the final, the quickest of the 4th places, and you're not going to get a whole series of them in the final heat going quicker than that.
Still an unimpressive run though from
absolutely,
her.
yeah.
Especially as not just a couple of weeks ago she ran at 7.96 in Ghent.
Ndama running even quicker here than she did in the first race of the heptathlon yesterday, which of course she ended up with the silver medal.
Bronze.
Bronze. Yeah. Apologies to Neve Emerson.
Confirmation there. Solène Ndama 8.04, Noraleta Naziri 8.07, and Lusa Kozak 8.08. They're the 3 automatic qualifiers. As Peter was saying, highly likely that 8.12 for Alina Talay will be good enough to see her through.
Yeah, the long jump in the heptathlon coming towards the closing stages. First of all, then we've got Ilya Shkironov. Well, we saw him improve from his opening 7.36 up to 7.43 in the 2nd round. And for this very experienced competitor, here he goes with his last chance. Oh, and it's good too. He's pleased with that one, no question. I think that's second only to what we've seen from Duckworth. So Ilya Shkironov, who's got a terrific record in major championships, of course, in the multi-event disciplines, both at decathlon and heptathlon indoors. And a mighty improvement, a 7.66, worth 975 points. Samuelsson, then his last chance. He's similar record to Skiranov in that he's 7:39 and 7:43, exactly the same as Skiranov in round 2. So like Skiranov, can he improve with his last attempt? And I always rate this athlete as a man who comes through in the big meetings. Let's see if he can do that yet again here. Oh, splendid jump indeed. That's a personal best, certainly indoors, because that's 7:47. He's way beyond that. So he does indeed, once again, rise to the occasion when it really matters. Fredrik Samuelsson. Look out to him to maintain a challenge right through this event. There's always plenty of pitfalls that can befall a multi-eventer, but that's a super start. He has, of course, done over 780 outdoors. This is the best he's ever done indoors. Let's see what it was. Yes, 766. So that's ahead, or rather matching Skiranov. Both of them on 975 points. Beckman, too. Well, he's just seen the 2 preceding jumpers go yet further. Can he do that? And again, positive, yeah. The teenage German has improved. 7:11 to 7:23. Let's see what this comes out at, but clearly it's ahead of what he'd done before. Indoor best of 7:29. I think he's going to have bettered that. There it is, 7:39, indoor best. Congratulations all round. Well, the last track action of this session, then the 60-meter hurdles for women, heat 4. Herska, Visser, Herez, Chubkovtseva, Rashkovan, Kolecek, and Aglitskaya. First 3 to go through and 4 on times. And you can see we've got a pretty good lineup there with 4 women who've run 8:05 or better this year. The best 4th place time so far, that 8:12 by Tale. So Herska, who this year has equalled the Finnish record at 7:97, at a very consistent season of fast running. Naziri, of course, we saw in the previous heat, her compatriot has qualified. Nadine Visser, 3rd in the world indoors, 7th last time in the European Indoor Championships at this event. Caridad Jerez has dominated Spanish high hurdling for the last few years. 6 indoor titles, 5 outdoor titles at the high hurdles. Then Chubkovtseva, the Ukrainian, making her international debut. 2nd in the Ukrainian Championships, 2nd in the Balkan Championships this season. Vaslana Rashkovan, another athlete from Belarus, the best of 8:24, slowest in the lineup. Karolina Kolecek, she was a finalist in the European Championships outdoor 110-meter hurdles, and she's taken her best down to 8:03 this year. And Maria Aglitskaya, authorized neutral athlete, Russian champion at both 2018, in both 2018 and 2019. She's run 8:05 this year. 2 athletes who've broken 8 seconds, therefore, are on the inside lanes. Herska of Finland and Visser of the Netherlands, the former heptathlete, now forsaken that event and is concentrating on the hurdles. Hersk in 2, Visser in 3. The 2 fastest in the field on their form so far this season. Outside them, Herez, Chubkovskaya, Rashkoyan, Kolecek, and Aglitskaya. Certainly Visser and Herska well away over on that far side, and Aglitskaya finishing fast. Well, it was taken by Visser, and then on either side of the track, photo shall decide between Herska and Aglitskaya, but those definitely the first 3 who go through, and it's a sub-8 second time. So Visser 7:99, Herska 8:06. So the fastest came at the end of these 60-meter hurdles races. Well, let's just look again. Certainly a terrific start over there on the far side. Visa then coming through to take that, and have to wait and see whether the fourth placer will also get through. Chubkovskaya. Visa 7:99, Herska 8:06, and Aglitskaya, and Chubkovskaya in fourth place at 8:22.
Yes, Chubkovskaya just misses out at 8:22.
Nice hurdling by Visa. She really is pretty consistent to this, having decided to forego the Amalfi events and concentrate on this event. Really started out her international career as a junior at this discipline, of course, as well.
Well, this was always by far and away her best discipline in the heptathlon. Just talking with Dutch journalists, they were saying that she gradually decided she didn't like the other events.
Visa winning in 7.99 from Herska 8:06 and Aglitskaya 8:11. Going according to form there, although Kalekchik was a bit disappointing. So that concludes the 60-meter hurdles, and these are the ladies who go through to the semi-finals. Headed by Visa 7:99, and some big names behind there. Rolode and Dama running both 8:04. The two Finnish athletes, Herska and Naziri. The two Hungarians, Kozak and Kerekes. Ivancevic, and then the little cues showing those who've also gone on times. As Phil alluded to earlier, disappointing run by Elina Tale, but safely through with that 8.12. So they will be returning 4 semi-finals in the evening session, and the long jump has also finished in the heptathlon now. And the best performance, quite easily, was Tim Duckworth, 7:79 for 1,007 points. Samuelsson and Skirinov producing their best at the last at 7:66. Van der Pleitsen and Rö moving up the standings, and Siliori maintaining a challenge at 7:49 there. So we've had 2 events of the heptathlon, 2 more events, of course, to come today, and then the remaining 3 tomorrow. At this stage, after the first session, Tim Duckworth leads now with 1943 points. Siliori holding on to second place. Quite a big gap after him to Samuelsson, and then Vrö, Danuarenia and Shkoyanov. But plenty of scope for change when we come to the next events. And we'll see about that in the afternoon. Those are the completed standings. 12 competitors still in action, down to Vitaly Zuk, who, of course, we've also seen his wife competing today in the women's pole vault. Van der Pleitsen just moving up there from 12th to 10th. So mostly sprint action this morning and a couple of qualifying rounds, and the heptathlon getting underway. Another good session, Phil.
An outstanding session. This brings this session to the close. Myself, Phil Minchell and Peter Matthews, we're going to go off and have a bit of lunch. But please do join us again at 6 o'clock here in Glasgow, 1900 Central European time, because we've got 7 gold medals to be decided this evening, including we've got the semi-finals and finals of the men's and women's 60 metres. We've seen the heats this morning. Well, you can gauge the form of some of the athletes. We've seen some of the favourites for both the men's and women's 60 metres go through their paces. So we're now going to take a break of about 5 hours. Have a break yourselves. Do come back and join us very shortly. We've got a lot more action today coming at the second day of the European Athletics Indoor Championships.